At first, we didn't know what to do with all the money. We tried burying it, shredding it, and burning it. But in the end, we decided to just give it all away.
Nice. Your fruit killing skills are remarkable.
What the hell kind of name is soap?
You know, the person who sent you this thinks that you are so short. Like, how are you so teeny weenies? Did you forget to drink your milks again?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. Sorry about the technical issues. About twice a week, my audio software completely dies, just 100%. And it always happens to be right before a stream without fail. Without fail, it's 8 o'clock. It's time to go. Mike's not picking up. Perfect. So we're a little bit late tonight, but you can't really complain. Last night we were like almost 30 minutes early. So 30 minutes early, one day a week, so that the rest of the week I can be late carte blanche, right? No issues. Surely you guys won't be upset at that. But we have lots of fun stuff to talk about today. It's a little bit jam-packed. Last couple days have been kind of silly. Sunday night doing a solo topic interview review. Yesterday we had the State of the Union, which is definitely unioning as far as I'm aware. Today, however, we have Brandon Herrera going scorched earth on his opponent's scorched mistress. Maybe that's a little unfortunate framing there. We have Mark LaRue going absolutely insane. Sicko mode, some would say. Sicko mode, Mark LaRue, Mark LaRue. We also have Aero Precision. I think it's over. I've said this a couple times, but I think this time it might be real. I think they might actually be dead now. We've heard the rumors, some of the other stuff, but I think they're gone. I think they're dead. Unless somebody buys them out, which could always happen. There's always hope. Hope remains for some of these companies, but Aero's been having a rough go of it, as have a lot of companies in the gun industries the last year and a half or so. But yeah, so what else do we got? And then, of course, we have a Candace Owens documentary call-out drop on Erica Kirk, dude. They need to get into the wrestling ring, okay? WWE main event, Erica Kirk, Candace Owens. I know that every single one of you DJs would be there, front row, day one, just to
You
peep.
don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
But now that we're all sufficiently scared, Richard, how's your night going?
Good. I just wanted to inform everybody real quick that I've seen a SDI.edu sticker on the back of a public works truck today. It was the most terrifying thing ever because they're working on gas lines and power lines, and to know that one of them may have possibly went to SDI. Oh, it's so terrible. It's so terrible.
I don't even know how that translates, though, right? How does having subpar gunsmithing skills work to translate into power lines, right?
Well, if you lived out here, you would know how it translates and that it doesn't. My power goes out regularly.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for putting up with the tardiness as usual. It will continue. Oh, also, I should ask you guys, I put out a video today for the first time in 2 months. I think it was 2 months to the day since my last video. Really, it's a GBRS video, but it's also a video talking about risers. What did you guys think about the video today? I know it's received quite well from my channel, but what did you guys think about it? I got a lot of compliments on the script writing, which was good because I put in some work on that one. I thought that was pretty fun. Fantastic, hilarious.
Right when somebody was upset and decided to rage quit the channel, and they're like, I unsubscribe.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Good video, fire. Ames riser, based, good. Video today, mogged, based. The Cope comments were also great. I haven't checked the pinned comment on there ever since I pinned it. Oh, he deleted it?
Yeah, he deleted the comment.
Ah, he was
It
getting
was up for
frame
like 2
mogged by the
hours.
chat. That's too bad. I know I ratioed him hard, but that's obvious. It's my channel, but yeah, good video. Good, great. Okay, fine. Enough slobbering on it, guys. Relax. Jeez. All right. Not used to all this positivity. Somebody get mad.
I was
Get
not
angry.
aware that you were coming out with the GBRS video today.
The same day that you drop it on the second channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just good timing.
Yeah.
Maybe the week-long strike on the second channel just kind of happened to work out this time. And if we have time tonight after the Candace Owens debacle, we can look at Rage Bait. I know you guys love Rage Bait on a Wednesday night. The riser mogged the riser. True. All right. Let's see. Should we just jump into Brandon Herrera, which, again, probably poor phrasing, but I think we should just, go for the jugular. Or maybe I should mention a couple other things. I'm gonna filibuster here, okay? I'm gonna give it like 5 minutes. Because finally, I got some things in, okay? You might notice behind me, that is a new item. That is, if I move out of the way here, you guys can see it's a little dark, but that is the Geisley Mod 1A 14.5 Super Duty. Just arrived at the FFL today, so I got to pick that up, take it home. Very cool. Obviously, that's the full ambi one in a DDC, which looks pretty hot. So I have that one there in for testing, which is great. I also bought $2,000 worth of ammo last night. So that good timing, which will last me about 2 months, maybe. No, probably not. Probably not even 2 months. But, and then also today, I'm at the FFL, right? I signed for some cans like in January, like 50 days ago at this point, 45, 50 days ago. And I'm not going to blame the FFL. However, they've been sitting there approved, and I got no email or no notification. They said that they called me, but I don't know if that's quite accurate. I mean, I could have been proactive and gone and called them, but today I actually did pick up. This is the tuna can, 9mm can. So it is as you can obviously tell, all of the baffles, they included all of the baffles for this guy. It's a simple aluminum can, but these are hyper cheap, right? So tuna cans, if you're not familiar, they're trying to bring something cheap, inexpensive that technically works to market for like $1.99 for the cheap options, and then some of the more expensive options are like $2.99. So really, really affordable options. And also the two different ends of the spectrum, of course. Then I got a cat white bread, finally got in and approved. So I have a couple new suppressors in for testing. The first suppressors I've ever bought or like switched out since the original YHM cans I bought in like 2022. So in the 3 or 4 years that I've been using those YHM cans, I might have 6-figure round counts on both of them combined. So, I mean, as far as durability goes for a cheap can, the YHMs have absolutely held up. But now I got some new stuff to play around with. This is going in an integrally suppressed 9mm build, and this is probably going to go on the Mark I because that thing sucks to shoot with a high back pressure can. Technically works. Yes, technically works is the appropriate term. They do technically works. All right. Cat white bread is goated. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted something that's durable, going to have decent sound characteristics, and also like low back pressure, which the cat white bread does. And also, I happen to know somebody who just cut me a really good deal on one, like a really, really good deal on one. So when you're stealing from a company, I mean, who's to say no, right? Now, instead of stealing from a company, how about politicians who steal from us? Now, I don't know if I guess it's technically true to say that Brandon Herrera is a politician, or at least vying to become an official politician. His opponent, Tony Gonzales, has been going through the ringer. Not as bad as his former mistress, but he's been suffering some political blows here and there, all of his own making. Now, Tony Gonzales is a conservative in name only, Republican in name only, or maybe a true Republican in a traitorous sense of the word, that don't actually do what they're elected to do. And Brandon Herrera famously 2 years ago almost beat him in the primary by 400 votes, 200 votes. It was insanely close for his district of Texas. So this time around, however, I don't think Tony Gonzales even has a shot, considering you have like the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, telling him he needs to resign. He needs to step down after all of this came out, that he was misusing public funds. He was lying to the public, and of course had an affair with one of his staffers. And then she ended up committing suicide under strange circumstances, self-immolation, very weird, tragic accident / cry for help gone wrong. Not entirely sure there, but Brandon finally put out a video. So if I were a betting man, okay, I don't know what Poly Market's looking like on this one, but if you're going to put money on something, Brandon Herrera versus Tony Gonzales, if the odds haven't flipped yet, probably a good buy on that. Because if I were a betting man, I would say that as long as Brandon Herrera doesn't do something to, self-immolate his career, he should be a shoo-in for Texas.
This is not a video I ever
That was really quiet.
expected to make, and I take no joy in making it. My plan this cycle has been to continue to tell the truth about Congressman Tony Gonzales and his voting record, how he continues to vote against the Constitution during his time in office. However, in the last few days, the case that I'm about to discuss.
Now, I'm not condoning what Tony did, of course, and his ex-sapper is tragically dead now. But if you're a powerful politician, or a semi-powerful politician with no morals whatsoever, and you have to pretend like It's the meme if you're a conservative is you're either a closet degenerate or you're gay, right? Pick one or the other. It's like when Grindr goes down at the RNC every year due to traffic. It's just one of those odd little things that makes you think a little bit. And Tony was absolutely going after it, getting after it. Okay. He was definitely putting in those extra hours at work.
Discuss has become the subject of national
Shooter. That is. Wow. Okay.
debate. And so I feel like I have an obligation to provide the most accurate details possible. I would have never expected in a million years to have to tell the story that I'm about to tell, nor would I ever consider it appropriate if this were mere conjecture. But at this point, these are no longer allegations. This has now been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be true, and the truth must be told. The voters have a right to know. And that is why, for the sake of the district, the party, and the country, Tony Gonzales should step down. I'll start from the beginning. Regina Santos Aviles was a regional director for Texas 23rd Congressional District, Congressman Tony Gonzales. She was originally from Uvalde and had served prior running the Uvalde Chamber of Commerce. From everyone that I've spoken to and from every account that I've been able to find, she was beloved by the community, took great pride in her work. She joined.
Now, this is a good angle for Brandon to take when it comes to discussing his opponent. Just talk up his ex-staffer that he had this lucid affair with, right? Of course, she's no longer with us, so there's a bit of a memoriam here. Take the side of the husband, which Tony was, of course, cheating on the wife with. Set up a GoFundMe, do all that sort of stuff. It's a really good angle of attack by Brandon. And, of course, it also helps that it's all true, right? I mean, the text came out. All the evidence is piling up, even after Tony denied all of these things, the strange circumstances around the death. The truth is a great polemic against liars. It works extremely well, right? So Brandon doing this, which is interesting, right? This is such a strange tonal shift for his channel when usually it's, hey, look at retarded gun or look at retarded person doing stupid with gun and winning a Darwin Award, right? And it's funny in that case, right? When you're watching somebody die on screen and, you're laughing or it's funny or it's comical, but, when it's more, I guess, serious because you can use it in some way, it's very sad, it's somber, it's sobering, right? So there's a bit of a dichotomy going on here between Brandon and his normal content.
Tony's staff in November of 2021 and dedicated the rest of her life to serving the district, including her hometown of Uvalde, with various issues that the district was facing. But on September 13th, 2025, first responders were called to her home after an alleged suicide via self-immolation, where she was declared dead the next day from her injuries. She left behind her husband and an 8-year-old son. Several days after the fact, when asked, Tony...
Now, maybe a bit of female hypergamy, but isn't that weird? Like, just from a physical perspective, like Tony Gonzales is disgusting, right? To look at. Not in good shape, not looks maxing, not genetic maxing, that's for sure. He's kind of out of that race. And then her husband is a mestizo Chad. It's like, I guess even if you're a good dad, even if you're looks maxing, some women just can't handle being around powerful people, I guess.
And an 8-year-old son. Several days after the fact, when asked, Tony said that he was, quote, heart-stricken at the news of her passing. He did not attend the funeral. Immediately after, a multitude of media sources, such as Current Revolt, asked a number of questions,
dude. Going to the funeral would be even scummier, though, right? Because you'd have to shake the husband's hand and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss. She was a great person." Meanwhile, you're screwing her behind the woodshed or something like that.
He could have attended the funeral from afar.
Yeah, that's just the guy deserves what's coming to him. Okay,
including whether or not Tony and Regina were involved in a romantic relationship. Tony Gonzales' office responded to every inquiry except the latter. All records were then sealed by Uvalde PD, from the police reports to the autopsy to any mention of Regina and Tony. This fed speculation, and multiple publications started reporting on the alleged affair between Tony and Regina. This would be a bombshell, as Tony is a married man with 6 children and often uses his appearance as a family man for...
That sounds very familiar. Married man, 6 kids, uses his family to appeal to his base, you know, your conservative viewers or your conservative constituents, right? We see the same thing playing out. Now all Tony needs to do is go bald and hop on roids.
his public image. It would also be completely against House ethics rules, subject to an investigation and penalties. Tony, of course, avoided any public scrutiny, including running away from multiple reporters.
Multiple media outlets have reported that you had an affair with Santos Aguilas. Is there any response you have to that?
We're here at Fort Sam. We're here at Fort Sam unit at the ceremony. Please have some respect.
I understand, but veterans fought for my right to ask you questions.
Hey, how are you doing?
Have some respect.
He also canceled all media appearances
right,
and banned journalists and reporters from any of his future events. All of this came to a head a few months later, where for the first time, after no hard evidence had come out, Tony officially denied the affair.
The rumors are completely untruthful. I also said, I don't know exactly what happened.
Which, as we will...
All right, we should institute a new test, okay? It's going to be called the 3-plate test. You have to bench 3 plates to get into Congress, the Senate, or the presidency, okay? And listen, I'm not even there yet. I'm pretty close, but I'm not there yet. So I think that would eliminate all of our problems when it comes to female voting and just having bitches around, both metaphorically and literally.
We'll soon find out, was a complete bold...
3 plates would be 315. 315 pounds. Bench.
...faced lie. But at this point, with no concrete evidence and an official denial of the affair, the story more or less died for a couple of months. That was at least until early February, where a former Tony staffer from Uvalde who worked hand in hand with Regina for 2 years for the congressman decided to...
No, I think that's fair, actually, Jimmy. Yeah, so 315 bench, 405 squat, or 505 deadlift, right? If you can do any of those 3 lifts, because some people are more specialist, right? If you can do any of those 3 lifts, you're good. You pass the test.
...risk potential repercussions and come forward. Not only did he have his personal account of Regina telling about the affair with Tony, but he also brought forward screenshots of Regina admitting to the affair, specifically texting the staffer, and I quote, "I had an affair."
If you're hitting, sorry to derail the video, but if you're hitting 315 for 17 reps, you're actually a monster. You might actually not be human.
Yeah.
That's like combine numbers for 225, not 315.
Telling about the affair with Tony, but he also brought forward screenshots of Regina admitting to the affair, specifically texting the staffer.
Now, this part is not real evidence. Like, for instance, I can text somebody that Richard had an affair with Beyonce, right? And that's not evidence. There's no proof there. It's like somebody else told me they did, but that's not actual evidence. Now, what comes later is the text between obviously Regina and Gonzales. That's a little bit more conclusive than Regina admitting to a third party, because again, she could say literally anything. It's like saying if Regina said that somebody, essayed her or something, right? That wouldn't be evidence. That's just her claim.
And I quote, "I had an affair with our boss," obviously referencing Tony. He even told about the facilitation of his family cabin for Tony, which he only later found out.
Yeah, that is exactly what Candace would call evidence. Look, she claimed that this happened. She claimed that this happened. It's like, I don't, not, okay, sure. Any evidence that this happened? But no, there is additional evidence as well.
Was used for extramarital activities. After this news started to break, Tony continued to double down and deny any wrongdoing, despite for the first time, material evidence is starting to come forward. Now, at this point in the story is where, unfortunately, I get involved. In Tony's denial, he blamed me for his actions, saying it was my fault that a, quote, disgruntled former staffer was given a voice and that he wouldn't engage in personal smears, which is rich.
Now, I gotta back up here for a second, because that is weird. It's like, listen, Brandon, he was just turning me on too much. I had to have sex with my staffer. I had to do it. This is Brandon's fault, all right? He's letting these darn people speak. Okay. All right, but it's just weird that you blame Brandon on your extramarital affairs, right? Come on. Go for something else. Say you were sad. Say you were in a dark place. Say you were lonely. Say the pressure got to you. Come on. Pull out some other generic response. Don't blame Brandon.
Was given a voice and that he wouldn't engage in personal smears, which is rich considering the same person who is now condemning personal smears ran an entire campaign last cycle personally smearing me.
Bob Good endorsed my opponent, a known neo-Nazi. These people used to walk around with white hoods at night. Now they're walking around with white hoods in the daytime.
But what I find most...
Okay, now I gotta defend Brandon here. So Brandon's not a neo-Nazi. Brandon's not a member of the KKK. I'm a keep it real with you, Chief. I was at the meeting, okay? I was on the board of directors when we were reviewing his application for these positions, and it was a unanimous no. All right, so he's not. All right, not a card-carrying member, not affiliated, not associated, not a neo-Nazi, not a member of the KKK.
Interesting is that now faced with proof, he condemns me and the staffer who came forward with evidence while refusing to deny the claims that have been made. And now, the bombshell. In the last week, Regina's husband has stepped forward. Not only was he personally willing to confirm the affair, but he went on to go and tell his side of the story that he was keeping private out of concerns for his son. Which is completely understandable, but now with the evidence that is coming forward from former staffers, he stepped forward to set the record straight. He also came forward with text messages from Regina's phone, confirmed by forensic software, showing that not only was Tony involved in a sexual relationship with Regina, but that he pressured her into it from a position of power. With her even mentioning several times that he was going too far, and even at one point asking if he was sober. These are only...
Now, I do need to be careful here because the power dynamic class warfare ideology is kind of rooted in Marxism a little bit, and I hate the idea of power dynamics. We're talking about a woman in her 30s that had been in politics for a while as a senior staffer to these people. So I would, listen, if we're going to treat you as equal, I can't take away your agency and tell you that you didn't know what you were doing, okay? So we can have, from my perspective, total accountability for the woman as well, right? You cheated on your husband and you disgraced your 8-year-old son that you had with him. You did that, all right? You absolutely did that. Power dynamics be damned.
A handful of texts that have been put forward of what I'm told are thousands of texts between Regina and Tony. Keep in mind, this is a married congressman with 6 children talking to a married female subordinate. From Tony to Regina. Then send me a sexy pic. Regina says, I swear my life has been a telenovela for the past 7 days. You really don't want a hot picture of me. Tony says, yes, I do. Hurry. She asks, is this a...
Tony, please. I mean, Tony needs a course in Rizology, I guess. I'm not one to talk, okay? This just seems off-putting to me. If you have a, Latinx who is, 30, 40 pounds overweight, middle-aged, balding, telling you that you need to hurry up and send him something. All right, does that turn you on? Does that get you going?
I don't understand this one bit.
But here's the thing, if she does it, it's on her. Because this should be the easy no, right? I mean, I know some of you guys are a little down bad, but this is like if the whale comes up to you and starts flirting, right? You say, no, get away from me, you hideous monster. But if you succumb to it, if you give into it, that's on you.
Test. Later she says, no, I just don't like taking pictures of myself, to which he replies, I'm just such a visual person. He then goes on to ask her favorite position. She asks, yours first, and then goes on to ask,
so she's playing into it. She's responding. Who knows who flirted first, too? And again, both scumbags. I'm not trying to defend Tony. Tony is a impious, evil man who should be kicked out of his position for moral reasons. But the same for the girl, right? The same for her, too. She's desecrating her family, her husband. She's running it through the mud. her legacy, everything. Her child will never be able to have a normal life, and that's on her.
This why you're quiet around me sometimes because you think I'm hot. He responds to this by saying, on top, pinning your legs. To which she then pumps the brakes and says, this is going too far, boss. So how long have you thought I was this hot?
See, that's the thing. She keeps going. She doesn't cut him off. He's like, this is going too far, boss. So how long have you been thinking that I'm hot? Huh? How long? She keeps going into it. She keeps leading it on. She could just cut him off at any point in time.
He says, what do you like? And then answers, since you worked at the Chamber of Commerce in Uvalde. And then following up on that, reminder, this is a married congressman to a married subordinate. He asks, anal? She replies, never. The text then from this point lead to them.
Is that Riz? Does that count? Does that count as Riz? Is that what the kids, is that, well, they're both older than me, so that doesn't count. Is that how Gen X flirts? Is that how Gen X flirts? Like, is that it? That's it? Negative aura, yeah, or generational aura debt. All right. Tragic.
I guess that's what I'm doing wrong. I just need to walk up to the girl and be like, what's up? Anal?
Huh?
Arranging to meet up at the cabin that then gets picked up by the story that the other former staffer had told, where he unwittingly set up an extramarital affair between his boss and his friend. These texts and the confirmation of a long-denied affair have sparked national outcry. Local state rep Wes Riddell has called for Tony to step down, while members of Congress have either asked for him to suspend his campaign or even outright resignation. And over the last few days, their complaints have made nationwide news, including reaching the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Mr. Speaker, why should Tony Gonzales resign, given these very serious...
That's another possibility there that they were selected. But I mean, listen, he's obviously total degenerate, cheating on his wife, disgracing his 6 children, disgracing his office, his state, everything, his constituents. He needs to be done away with. Tony Gonzales needs to go away, never come back, spend the rest of your life in a monastery apologizing to your wife and kids. Something like that. But also, the woman is playing into it. She is. Right? At any point, she can say the word no. The N-word! I'm going to say it. Strongest word in the human language. And it starts with N and ends with R. Second best is no.
Accusations.
There are serious accusations, and it must be taken seriously, and I've told him he's got to address that with his constituents.
It has also come out that the House Ethics Committee has launched its own investigation. At this point, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Tony Gonzales is guilty of an extramarital affair and lying to his family, the press, and the people, of abusing a position as a member of Congress for sexual misconduct, and wrecking a home to the degree that a young woman is now dead. Up to this point, my campaign against Tony has been relying solely upon the issues, problem that I have and his voters have with his voting record. But this goes beyond that now. It is now irrefutable that Tony Gonzales is a wicked man and must be removed. Now, next week on...
Now, that is true, and that is based, okay? But if that's the standard we're holding all politicians to, which, again, if this is the deal we want to strike, all right, I'm down for this, okay? But I do think if that's the standard we're going to set, we got to clear house, okay? So we're just going to go in, big bulldozer, just get rid of all of them that are degenerates, right? So I think we'll have maybe 3 or 4 left, and then we'll, some special elections or something to fill up the empty seats. But listen, I'm all for this standard, Brandon. Now, the catch-22 here, Brandon, all right, the catch-22 here is if he's got any degenerate skeletons hiding in his closet, right? I mean, right, I don't know anything about Brandon's personal life. I'm just saying, okay, if you're going to take a very harsh moral stance and tell your opponent to step down because of some sort of affair, untoward activity, and Brandon's got something like this in his closet somewhere, not going to go well in a couple years when that comes out, right? Good in the moment, works really well as a tactic for now, might come back later on and haunt him.
Well, March 3rd, voters will have the...
He's visited Vegas for SHOT Show several years in a row, so I'm sure there's probably going to be some drunken moment that somebody's
Well, I mean,
going to claim.
I met
about
Brandon at
something.
SHOT Show. I talked to Brandon for a minute at SHOT Show. I do genuinely hope he wins. Like, I have
I do
my
too.
critiques of his, strategy of making money on YouTube per se. But other than that, I think that he would be, at least on the generic issues, far better than Tony Gonzales. And I mean, he also hasn't taken any money from APAC, so there are some positive indicators there as to his disposition towards the American people themselves. So I do think that I'm hoping for him to win 100%, 1000%. I'm just saying,
Agreed.
cautionary moment here. Okay, if you're going to use this as an attack against your opponent, wise in the moment, pays off in the moment. But if something like this happens to you in the future, it's going to not look so good.
Opportunity to have their voices heard. But as we've seen, this goes far beyond politics. While Tony might rightfully lose his job, a husband and son are still grieving a wife and mother. So right now, while I have your attention, I'd like to ask you to help me help the family that Regina left behind. In the past few days, I've had the privilege of speaking with Regina's husband, and with his permission, we've set up a GoFundMe to help with the family and specifically to set something aside for the son. He seems like a great kid with a promising future, and we'd like to help them with that as much as possible.
Now, in honor of that, I am going to drop the GoFundMe link in the Rumble and YouTube chat if you want to go support the actual innocent person in all of this, which is, of course, the 8-year-old son of the mother and his father, which have now been left behind, of course. So that is in the YouTube chat. That is in the Rumble chat. Click it if you feel like helping out a young boy.
And Tony's made it clear he's not only not going to help the family, but instead he's going to go on the offensive and attack them. So
Gonzales accuses former aide's husband of trying to profit from wife's death and affair. Listen, I cheated on my wife with your wife, but you calling me out after her suicide, you're trying to get rich off this. Now elect me, peasants. Re-elect me, peasants.
Now,
Bold strategy.
Uvalde sealed the case records on this.
I heard they were really slow to get in there. The records were in there. They could have gotten them, but they just waited for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also heard that it was the husband who petitioned to have them sealed. I'm not sure.
It's possible.
Anything our community can do would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure. So there's no sponsor on this video. There's no asks, nothing other than please help us.
That would be awkward.
To help a young boy
Now,
face
before
a
we get
future
to this
without
next
his
part,
mother.
a word
And
from our
lastly,
friends at Sonoran Desert Institute.
To Ernest Anthony Tony Gonzales. Hasn't this gone far enough for you? When this all started, my only qualms with you were your voting record. 2 years ago, when I lost that election, we sat down like men.
By 400 votes,
You shook
like almost
my
nothing.
hand, you looked me in the eyes, and you promised me things would be different. I was genuinely horrified to find out what kind of man I shook hands with that day. And unlike the smears you've done on me, you'll find that nothing I've said in this video was taken out of context. These are simply your words and your actions. This is your last chance to be a man and take some accountability. Step down. For the sake of the country, for the sake of Texas, for the sake of common decency. Step down.
Again, I get this works as an offensive tactic. It does fall a little flat when you consider that half the people in Congress and Senate are disgusting, degenerate, cheaters, liars, abusers, thieves, and worse, right? So totally, Brandon, totally get it as a attack move here, bolstering up your base, attacking his base, chipping away, trying to peel people over to your side. Totally get that as a strategy. Hope it works for you 100%, but it does fall a little flat in principle. Now, I mean, again, last time Brandon should have won on the issues alone, right? Tony Gonzales sucks. He's mainstream. You can go through any of his anti-Second Amendment or at least not pro enough Second Amendment stances that he's had in the past. He always makes promises to change and update and move along, get with the times, old man. Never really does. Definitely a swamp creature. Want him removed for sure. Last time Brandon had, I think, 1/20th the funding. I think it was like $750,000 for Brandon, and then like 17 mil for Tony Gonzalez or something in terms of funding. So I forget, the numbers could be off. All right, I don't quite remember exactly what the numbers are. The point being that Tony Gonzalez has backing from super PACs, more bigger institutions, that sort of thing. He has more political capital than Brandon does, and Brandon only lost by 400 votes. Now that there's active members of Congress, the Senate, telling him, Tony Gonzalez, to step down, I don't see how Tony beats Brandon the second time, if he even stays in the race. I don't even know if that's possible, because I mean, they were razor close last time, and now this has blown up, gone up in smoke, some would say, his whole campaign in the last couple of weeks. So I don't know how Brandon loses, which is interesting, right, guys? Because I mean, I've been watching GunTube for like 12 years or something like that. And Brandon was one of those guys who has been around a long time. He's been one of the top dogs for the last 6-7 years, at least. Damn it, I always say that. For the last 6-7 years, I said it again. For the last number of years, all right, he's been one of the top dogs. And now he's transitioning into politics, and dare I say, successfully. We've seen some people try and transition into politics, acting, movie making, and it hasn't really gone so well. But Brandon might actually be the most successful case in the gun industry, anyways, of a YouTuber transitioning into another more mainstream avenue, right? A more mainstream career path, this being politics. So good luck to Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Unironically, hope you win. Pretty sure you're going to win unless something terrible happens, or, funny votes or something silly like that. Richard, what are your thoughts?
I like it. I like to see what he's doing. That's short and sweet of it.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, let's get to Crazy Marky Mark. And then we're going to talk about Aero Precision. Yikes. Sorry, guys. You guys like Aero? I hope not. Anyways, let's take a look at this thing. Now, this is, I don't know if this is a new release, but this is an exclusive. This is a one of a kind, or should I say 1 of 100 special edition Mark LaRue Sietta 308 pistol. Okay? Very special, very exclusive. They're only going to make 100 of these bad boys, and then they're gone forever. So these, if you want one, pick one up, okay? But let's go. It's a interesting little package. It's basically a micro Sietta. I don't know if if it's entirely the same, because obviously it needs to have some special changes to make it this small, but it is a backpackable 308 bolt gun. So yes, you are looking at a 10-inch, which is huge, 10-inch braced 308 bolt gun. 10 inches of 308 madness. Now, some of you guys are probably like, why not 8.6 blackout or something that, you could at least shoot subsonics out of a barrel that long and get reasonable performance if you're even into 8.6. Now, when you're buying something like this, cost shouldn't even be a concern about the ammunition, because the rifle itself is 3,000. So it's not a inexpensive item. Now, if we go over here to the description, introducing the limited edition Sietta pistol. Whether you're a collector seeking the next centerpiece for your safe, or a marksman in need of a compact and unique 308, the 5.7 pound should have been 6.7 pounds. LaRue Sietta pistol is the ultimate answer. With an overall length of 29 inches extended, 21 folded, these 100 units will sell out quickly. Order now and own the pinnacle of bolt-action pistols. We're thrilled to unveil the LaRue Sietta pistol. Could you restock the rest of your website? That would be cool too, if you could do that. An exceptional new release that showcases LaRue's legendary precision. This limited run features only 100 units, making it not just a firearm, but a unique piece of ballistic craftsmanship. Ballistic craftsmanship. I wonder if that's Boondocks Ballistician's official title. Ballistic Craftsman. Interesting. That you won't want to miss. Chambered in the powerful 308 Winchester. And again, wish it was anything else. The Siete 10-inch 308 is not fun. It's not fun to shoot. Even
and it doesn't even
suppressed.
have a real stock on it. It's got a brace tail hook. Like,
no, I know.
wow.
It's well, oh shoot, I closed the tab. This one. I mean, it's also got a really lightweight profile barrel. Like, look at the way that it tapers down in the middle.
Right. And it said
Right.
the overall length when folded was 21 inches. Does that rear section is, I'm assuming it's just a buffer tube.
I think so. It looks like it has a little latch on it, like right here. So I don't know if it's 1913 or if it's buffer tube. It looks unique because it does have the tail hook at the end. And I think this is a tail hook buffer tube adapter.
Since it's under 26 inches overall length without
when
that,
folded. Well, but I think it's attached. I don't think it's removable.
It's okay. It looked like it screwed in and out.
I mean, I'm sure there has to be a way to remove it. Certainly.
Yeah.
So it's a hinge mechanism. But NFA length is extended. Yeah. So, well, wait, 26 inches overall length would make it a other firearm?
Correct.
Right?
I think it would make it another.
The design smells of Kevin Brittingham. I don't want to know what that smells like. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you, Luke. I don't want to know what that smells like.
Smells like
But
chlorine.
right, it's like, but I mean, a fix sucks. Like the Q fixes suck. And they're, roughly the same price, plus or minus a little bit. But at least here you're getting a good action. Because the fix actions suck. And the triggers are awful. So at least this is like more traditional in that respect. Smells like Kevin and James in a hot tub. I ought to just get that clip handy so that I can whip it out whenever I feel like it. Anything else of interest? So, crafted with unwavering commitment to detail, each Siete pistol reflects LaRue's trusted reputation among professionals and shooting enthusiasts alike. It's a 10-inch LaRue match-grade barrel, strikes the ideal balance for the 308 cartridge. Citation needed, dog. Delivering impressive energy on target. Compared to what? While maintaining the agility you need for ease of portability. That's right. I need to be able to whip out my folding 10-inch 308 at a moment's notice so that I can be maneuverable while I operatingly. Add a suppressor in this firearm transforms into the ultimate bush companion. Hey, Tony Gonzales might need a bush companion. We've finished the CNC machine hard anodized, blah, 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 2.5 pounds, Timney trigger. 100 of them, and that's all you're getting. All right, Chad, are you very excited about that? Did that really get you going?
Watch
just
them not
looking at
release
this
the
thing.
full 100, only release 75, and then the 75 start to hit the aftermarket, and then they release the other 25 on the in the secondhand market.
I mean, it looks nice. Like the machining is
I
good.
like
It's LaRue quality.
I just wish it was in 300 blackout. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, like a mini action. I mean,
Yeah.
at 10 inches long, a mini action makes way more sense, I mean, yeah, it is a really lightweight profile barrel, too.
Yeah. You could put a decent suppressor on there, not something too heavy, but with subsonic rounds, you don't need much. It would be great.
I think Mark must just be crashing out that he didn't get the contract. Like Geisley got the MRGGA. Or the MRGGS, I forget which one they got, and then LMT got the other MRGG contract. LaRue did not, and ever since he lost the contract to LMT and Geisley, he's been doing whatever the heck this is. Okay, it's a nice little package. Gonna keep it real with you, though, dog. I am not gonna spend $3,000 on this. I think I'm already blocked. Thank you, Emery Boy, but I think I'm already blocked by Marky Mark. I just think that's how it's gonna go. How long is the stream going to be, dude? What are you talking about, Chud? Like, we're 45 minutes in. We have an hour documentary to get into, dude, all right? We're going to be here for 2 days as far as I'm concerned. Thanks, Chud. All right. Well, the time has come. The reckoning. The bill comes due. Literally, the bill comes due for Aero Precision. Now, this was posted a while ago. I'm just seeing it now for the first time today. But this is a notice to pay or vacate from their Tacoma, Washington facility. This is what's more colloquially known as a eviction notice. Problematic for a company, a little problematic for a business when you're not paying your bills on your offices or your warehouses, right? And this is a while ago. So, in default of your commercial lease dated May 25, 2016, that's when they started there. Rent and other charges are now due in the amount of $18,000, right? And then this was dated on the 27th of October 2025. So this is about 4 months ago. So as of 4 months ago, they needed to pay the $18,000 in 3 days or get out now, right? 3 days to pay or vacate, basically. So now I'm not sure. I'm not in Washington anymore, so I can't go by and see if they're still there, if they actually paid the $18,000. But it's indicative of them not doing well financially and having issues with their cash flow. Now, we also heard rumors last year about overrun stock. Of course, at SHOT Show recently, they had a booth. They paid for a booth last year because that's how it works. You have to pay for the booth a year in advance. However, this year at SHOT Show, no booth from Aero Precision, and it was just a lounge, which was very nice. It was a lounge area with a bunch of couches and chairs and tables strewn around, but no Aero Precision, which is concerning. They paid for the booth, didn't have any employees or products to show off, though, or couldn't afford to bring anything out to Vegas for the show. Very problematic. And then again, last year, they allegedly had issues paying their Cerecoders, which is one of the things that they used to do with their builder sets. Where you would, they'd have all the wacky color combinations, and allegedly they owed some of their Cerakote, third-party Cerecoders, 6 figures in back pay, which is very rough, which is a big no-no. You add that with not being able to pay your rent. And as of today, the big news, I'll read this out for you because I know it's only in 4 pixels, is that they also cut off all of their remaining employees. They cut off their health care. So the signs are there. The signs are there that Aero Precision is not long for this world. They're heading towards financial disaster or a buyout or something. Things are not looking good in their world. So I'll go ahead and read this. Dear Aero employees, I'm adding the dear. They didn't even add that formality. We are writing to inform you of an important update regarding our company-sponsored health insurance coverage. Effective February 19th, 6 days ago, our medical insurance coverage with Cigna was canceled. It should have been Sigma. They're so close. The cancellation occurred because premium amounts due from Aero Precision LLC were not remitted to Cigna. We didn't pay. While all medical insurance deductions withheld from employee paychecks were properly deducted and submitted towards premium obligations. The employer-funded portion of the premium was not paid. So we took your contributions and gave them to Sigma, but we didn't hold up our end of the bargain. So no more healthcare for you guys, all right? All right? Just a little oopsie, right? The employer-funded portion of the premiums was not paid. As a result, Cigna terminated the medical insurance policy. Nice. Please be advised of the following. All employee paid medical deductions that were withheld from your pay have been forwarded to Cigna. Okay, cool. No further medical insurance deductions will be taken from employee paychecks effective immediately. Well, at least they're not going to continue to charge you the deductions, right? You just get all your money and go find your own health insurance, I guess, right? Dental and vision insurance coverage remains active and unaffected. Well, thanks, I guess. That's funny. Payroll deductions for dental and vision coverage will continue as normal. We understand the seriousness of this matter and the disruption this may cause. Additional information regarding next steps and available options will be communicated as soon as it becomes available. If you have an immediate question regarding claims or prior coverage, you may contact Cigna directly. For payroll deduction questions, please contact Human Resources. We sincerely appreciate your attention to this matter. Aero Precision, LLC. Now, the funny thing is that they fired all of their HR employees yesterday. So you can send that's a joke. You can send the HR department an email, but you're going to get a did not receive email back. So yeah, how you guys feeling? How's Aero looking to you guys these days? You want to make an investment? It needs some cash real quick. I'm sure you'll get your product. And the entire time they're sending out emails like, "Hey, we got this. Buy this." Is stuff shipping? Some of it is. Some of it's not. It does not look good though. Does not look good. Well, there's a follow-up little update to this as well. Oh shoot, what the heck? StreamYards, stop it. There's a follow-up little update to this, which I will also walk you through. Allegedly insider information talking about it because now that it's all public. So if you guys want the tea on Aero Precision, here's some more. Maybe the industry as a whole, which is, Aero Precision falling down is a kind of a sign of the times as it relates to the industry being in some cases down about 40%. Not everywhere, but some of the big retailers can be down about 40%. Some of the big retailers, somewhere between 20 and 40%. Some people are doing fine. A couple people are doing fine if they're able to differentiate themselves or maintain demand in some way, but most of the big guys definitely down. Let me see. It came out. I guess that means I can finally talk about it. That's the company I've been talking about and kept telling everybody that I couldn't say anything about it until it happened. But now that it's finally out, we can say that we've known about this since September, and apparently they are going back to aerospace because the firearms industry is struggling so hard. So, Aero Precision going back to, they're just dipping out of the firearms sector. Interesting if true, but what would be very surprising about that is they still need a cash influx. They need money because they owe people money. So you have machines that can make stuff, but if you already owe people for the stuff that you're allegedly selling, right? Just switching industries isn't going to magically give you a cash influx if you've got no money to do anything. You're starting out in a new industry or going back to an old industry with negative, $6 million, which is a lot, maybe a little overestimated. You're starting out with negative $6 million moving into another industry. I don't know how well that's going to work out for you unless you're planning on getting investment, because you are in Washington. Boeing's in Washington. They got a lot of big facilities there. So it kind of makes sense to be one of the supporters in that area logistically. And especially since the firearms regulations in Washington, horrifying, terrible for manufacturers. And honestly, they've been trying to get rid of Aero for a long time in Washington. So in some ways, I feel bad for them. It's not entirely their fault. That Washington sucks so bad and the political climate is what it is currently, but very interesting move to try and go back to aerospace.
Do you think that they'll sell off the firearms portion of the business, including the some of the tooling and stuff that they have, and move it to another state under a different name?
That's very possible. If they did sell their stuff, whatever they have on hand, to Ruger, who just bought out Anderson not too long ago. So somebody like that who might need more manufacturing capability, it's possible. It's possible that they just sell off the firearm side and kind of give that a wash. We'll take the money that we make from selling off all the firearms equipment to pay off all the people that we owe money as we transition from, firearms to aerospace. Okay. Maybe that's a potential strategy. Probably not a bad option. It's a good idea. All right. Because the firearms industry is struggling so hard, and not enough people are buying firearms anymore because we haven't had a good scare like COVID or an election that threatened to take away firearms in a while. And the economy is so bad that everybody is broke and can't afford luxuries like firearms. There are two other major companies that are in the same boat also. They are equally as big as Aero and are about to shut their doors. It's honestly extremely crappy. Because there are so many people relying on these companies for their income and to support their families, almost the whole gun industry is down over 40% from last year. I wouldn't say the whole gun industry is down 40%, but certain sectors for sure down 40, 50%, others 20, some pretty much the same. So it depends who you're talking to. And it goes down by about 40% from the previous year, each year since COVID. Except for Glock, because of that stunt they pulled where they cleared out their entire North American inventory in a week to make room for Gen 6. Interesting move. When they said they were changing the uppers so that switches couldn't be used on them and that they were going to be removing all of the Gen 5s, they created an artificial panic buy to clear out their North American inventory and forced every gun shop and every online retailer to fully stock their new generation. Gotta hand it to the boys over there. They are extremely smart. Stealth Arms is actually doing really well. Also, from what I've heard, that's because they're making awesome product that have had a 6-month waiting period. That's how the gun industry is right now. That's how I feel. Like, some things are, you got too much stock and you've got $250,000 sitting on your floor that you can't sell, and other people are back ordered 16 months, right? It's like, we don't have enough machines to make the product. We don't, like, we're never going to catch up. We have so much extra money, we don't know what to do with it. We can't expand fast enough to meet our demand. That's the dichotomy of the gun industry right now. Stealth Arms. The suppressor companies seem to be doing well, again, because it's cheap now, right? You can pump out a suppressor for like $75, mark it up to 300. Doing pretty good in that regard. But actual firearm manufacturers are having a lot of problems with this economy. All the tariffs and material costs going through the roof, and annoying regulations like the EPA's new rules having to do with the chrome lining process, also true. An insane lack of new customers and repeat customers because people can't afford it. Now, talking to some other companies, let's take Geisley, for example. Geisley's doing pretty well. Why? Because they have good products. They're very price stable products. They've got contracts. They've got the name brand recognition, so they're not doing too bad. Troy Industries has a new overseas contract. They're doing really good. They had a couple of bad years. 2026 looking pretty good for them. Daniel Defense lost a contract. LaRue not doing too hot for sure. Some of the other big companies, though, doing really good, right? It's really hit and miss. It depends who you are. Now, they're having to seek new markets, and that usually isn't necessarily the American market. They're chasing overseas police contracts or military contracts or whatever they can get their hands on to keep the doors open. And that's what you have to do, which is really hard for somebody like Anderson, where no police are buying your guns for the most part. You're competing in a sea of cheap Glock clones with the Kiger or the Krieger, whatever they called it. And then you're also competing in the budget AR market, which PSA is down, but they're still dominating that section. And to compete in the same market segment as everybody else, it's not going to look good. That's why they sold to Ruger. And how good is Ruger doing? Well, Ruger diversifies, and they have a lot of different products. And the RXM is like the king of the cheap Glock clones, at least as of right now. Everyone is hurting. It really sucks to see this. I love this entire industry, and a lot of my friends run some of these companies or work for some of these companies. And it's awful to see what they're having to go through. It's all fun and games to call some of these companies, crap or poor. But these are real people with real jobs that are about to lose their livelihood, and nobody deserves that. I apologize if my talk to text have butchered any part of this message. Now, I disagree with him there at the last part, because I have sympathy for untoward regulations, or like the state of Washington screwing over gun owners and gun companies, of course. But sometimes companies just make bad products and they deserve to go away. Sometimes companies take customers' money and don't ship product for 6 to 9 months. What are we, delivering a baby? No, you're trying to deliver a builder's set, all right? It's not that complicated. Well, you made it a lot more complicated when you didn't pay your Cerakoders. You stole from them, essentially. You stole from your customers, right? So listen, if that's what you're doing, you deserve to go out of business. So of course, people will get harmed in the process because of mismanagement, because of the things that the leadership has done. But still, the company as a whole deserves to go under when they're not doing their thing. Tacticon Armament. They're dead. They're out of the water. Why? Because, their leader decided to stop paying people. I had somebody comment on that video the other day, like, hey, we were a supplier of his for like 5 years. We trusted him. We let him pay half now, half later. We gave him the stuff and he never paid us for it. Right? When you're doing stuff like that, you're not paying your employees, you're cutting off their health care. Sorry to say it, dog, but you deserve to go under. And honestly, it's better in the long run for those employees that they get into something that's actually going to take care of them, that they go somewhere that is a company with good morals, right? It's more important that they give their time, energy, life to someplace that's actually going to care about them, not, company number 316 that's going to fall over in the next 6 months. Right, as a whole, right? Not saying the individual machinists need to go out of business. Of course not. Of course, it's going to negatively affect those people, right? But the company has to go away if it's not fulfilling its end of the bargain. That's That's just how life works, right? You know, if Ford made cars that instantly blew up and killed all of its customers, I can't tell you, oh, well, they have to continue in business. People are going to lose their jobs. It's like, well, they have to. The company has to go away. It's no longer profitable. You've lost money. You owe people. You're never going to get out of this. You need to go away. And that's just how it is. Sometimes it happens, right? Companies can't last forever. It happens. And we've all worked for companies that don't deserve to exist yet continue to. And I'm sure we've seen a good number of good companies that tried their best, that did all the right things, that just got screwed out due to circumstance or bad luck or poor economy or what have you. And they go under. And that is sad, right? It is sad when people lose their jobs, 100%. I have compassion. I have empathy for those individuals, right? And even the people who work at Aero that love their job. When I worked at a steel company in Washington State, one of my buddies got the contract for Aero Precision to sell them their 8620 for their bolts, right? So like I tangentially am related to them in some way. I've had contact with some of those guys. I've shook their hands. I've met them at trade shows, right? I feel bad for those individuals. I've had really great sales reps that I did with like as a business from those guys. But again, if the company isn't producing anything, if it owes everybody money, it has to go under, right? It has to satisfy those debts in some way. The bill comes due. And it has.
Just one question. Did you use Ford and selling vehicles that are blowing up as a specific instance for a reason?
Well, I mean, the Pinto literally did spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
Right. And now I know some people, I know they didn't go under, but there's also like, of course, the government stepped in to bail out the banks and the other motor vehicles. Ironically, though, wasn't it Ford, the company that didn't take the government bailout back in 2008, 2009, right? All the other auto manufacturers did, GM, Chevy, whatever the other ones are. I don't remember. Not a car guy. Apologize. Yeah. But yeah, that is the story of Aero Precision, cutting off healthcare, not paying rent. Like, I don't like what's your solution if you're somebody who thinks that, oh, well, they need to keep going for the sake of the people working there? Like, what do they do? Like, how do they pay off their debts? What are they supposed to do?
What do you do if you're an employee and you walk in and you see this taped to the door?
Man, you're going to have a great 3 days, dog. Just hope you get paid. Now, another bad situation for employees is if they end up getting screwed out of wages, right? Because that happened at Tacticon Argument. I keep saying Tacticon Argument.
Freudian slip. I love it,
Armament. Well, I mean, it is an argument that I'm making in a technical sense. So my Tacticon Argument for Tacticon Armament is that, you know, they had a skeleton crew of employees that stuck around, that believed in the business, that believed in Jake, that he was going to turn it around for him, that he was going to get them their money. Didn't happen. Some of these guys dipped into savings. I've had a bunch of them reach out to me like, hey, if you really want to know what was going on there, like he screwed me out of XYZ. He lied to me. He, you know, dragged me along the whole way. He put my family in a really bad situation. So in some ways, it's better if they just get out now, you know, clean break, get out. Washington State has really good unemployment laws. So you should be entitled to some pretty decent compensation through the state of Washington, and use that time to figure out what you're going to do next, you know? Godspeed out there, bros. Yeah, and again, I've met and talked to, because I am a dealer for Aero Precision, Ballistic Advantage, and some of the other guys, and I've talked to a lot of them, emailed conversations for like, you know, 4 or 5 years now, 6 years now, actually. Yeah, long time. All right. Well, we're an hour into the show. After this, we're going to get into... I was not watching it. I was out today at the gun store picking up things, as I mentioned earlier. But as this was premiering, there were 89,000 people watching it premiere. I don't know how Candace pulls these numbers. I don't know how she does this. That explains the Focus RS. Yeah, I had an ST for a while. I actually liked the Focus ST. I thought that was fun. Not a car gay. Yeah, whatever, guys. Okay, too many Freudians slipping in and out here. What am I, Tony Gonzales on the campaign trail? Cody Fisher for 10 says, what is even happening? I need to lock the... I'm exhausted. That's right, lock in. Lock in, white boy. Summer's around the corner, and you know what that means. White boy summer. Thank you, Cody Fisher. Hope you're having a good day. Lightsport for 2 says, Focus discovers streaming every day makes infinite money. I feel bad. But at the same time, it's fun. It's fun to hang out. It's fun to have something to do every day. At the end, talk about all the news. Yesterday, this week we had a couple extra streams. Not going to happen going forward, I hope, unless, Iran gets bombed tonight, then we'll just keep streaming forever, okay? We'll stream until we die. How about that? Thank you, Lightspore.
Somebody
Appreciate
reach out to me earlier who lives next to a Air Force base, and they said that there's been some F-35s and some C-130s that were not usually in the area that have been there over the past 48 hours.
What base?
There one in South Carolina and one in Florida. So it's two separate locations.
Well, right, but what does them being in South Carolina and Florida have to do with Iran? Right, because I know that they moved that there's 2 aircraft carriers outside, and they have like all of the transport and everybody else sitting there.
The one in
they
Florida,
have build up there, right?
The one in Florida is located right next to a nuclear submarine port, and the one in South Carolina is, I believe, strategically the closest one on U.S. soil to Iran.
Ah, I see. Over on Rumble, Glock Shooter for 10 says, here's $10 for bending the GBRS fags over. That was a fun video to make. Thank you, Glock Shooter. Mega Base of you over there on Rumble. That was a fun video to make. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Ronnie Diazengaleski for $20. Thank you very much. That is very base of you, sir.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, but I'm too gone.
That clip is so long. It's 30 seconds long. I need to just get out of that after 4 seconds. All right. Psalm 57, 4 through 6. I am in the midst of lions. I am forced to dwell among ravenous beasts, men whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be all over the earth. They spread a net for my feet. I was bowed down in distress. They dug a pit in my path, but they have fallen into it themselves. Thank you, Ronnie, for that. Absolutely wonderful. Read the Psalms and Proverbs. Even if you're not a Christian, it's nice to see ancient wisdom that holds up to the test of time. Thank you, Ronnie. Have a good night, sir. Amrite Boy for 2 says, late and gayer than bell bottoms. Why was 10 scared? Why was 10 scared, Amrite Boy? Why was 10 scared? I actually don't know this joke. Tumor John for 5 says, later than Tony G's staffers period after a trip to his cabin, gayer than Tony G refusing to drop out. Thank you, Doomer John. Joshua Howard says, I want to see John's reaction to Twinch's Wast Intwo. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, okay, so Small Ball makes these for me. So if you saw this in the intro, I feel bad, but it is very funny. Very funny. Now I have to look up Trench's intro. Trench grenade. Is it funny, Richard? Did you see it?
I did not, but I seen the comment come in, so I knew we needed
Is it the state of the world?
State of the World Flash Report, 25 February 2026. Greetings, peasant Americans. I hope you like getting spied on by your government using mass surveillance AI technology, because that is exactly what's happening right now. If you needed another sign that America First is dead, here it is. While regular Americans are getting squeezed financially.
Is that it? Is that it, Joshua Howard? Or is it the other one?
State of...
Oh, shoot.
He
this one?
So many, so I'm
I know,
not sure.
there's multiple videos today. You got to be more specific. We play? Hello? Play the video.
The handgun is your
Oh, shoot. Gosh dang it.
lifeline. It may very well be the final thing that you hold in the most desperate moments of your life as you draw your final breath. The handgun is absolute in its very nature. This will be the tool that directly determines if you remain a member of the living population on Earth or you join the billions that have gone before you in the graveyards of the dead. The handgun must be perfect. No compromise. No corners cut. It must be perfectly maintained and perfectly zeroed. The ammunition that you select for your handgun must be perfect to meet, if not exceed, the performance of that tool. Cost should not be the considering factor when you select your lifeline.
Right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Appreciate that. Dynaside, you got to pay me for that, man. Don't keep that for free. What the heck? Dynaside for 5 says, intro song makes me want to smoke a stogie while watching the sun rise before making Istanbul, Constantinople again. True, dude. It's very vibey, all right? It's a little bit of California, okay? It's smooth. Thank you, Dynaside. Bryce Kimball, member for 4 months, says, like the stream, gays. Well, listen, there's going to be no likes on the stream because nobody watching is gay. Thank you, Bryce Kimball. JL Goddess for 2 says, OMG, just found out I'm squatted with my priest. Dude, your priest goes to local matches? That's actually based. Actually based. Have him like throw holy water on you before the match. Thank you, JL Goddess. Hilter Lover, 1488. Richard, how about a gassy for tonight? How about a gassy on that PFP? Thank you, Hilter. CM Scar for 5 says, I bought an APX A1 carry today. Mogged Gary? Oh, no. That's dark, bro. Bought an APX A1 carry today. Think that makes me an honorary N. Also, someone let me into the cord before I get mad. You wouldn't like me when I'm mad. And he also has a gun now. That's vaguely threatening, Mr. Scar. Modern Frontier Project for 2 says, did he dye his beard? Brandon? No, I think he just looks like that. I think Brandon just looks like that.
It did look a little bit monotone.
Okay, here's the thing. I know the Wignats have got a really bad reputation. I know the neo-Nazis, okay, the introduction of new members hasn't been going very well, so we've been expanding our efforts, okay? Been expanding our efforts a little bit. However, Brandon is one shade too brown still, okay? Nick Fuentes, cool. All right, he's light enough. Brandon Herrera still one shade too brown until we have to open up our criteria a little bit more. Ditch Hand Bomb for 5 says, Richard does know that SDI stands for super duper intelligence, right? Better than Stevie Wonder's Institute for Trucking. That's good. Thank you, Ditch Hand Bomb. Lightsport, Ditch Hand Bomb versus Trench Grenade. That's a matchup I need to see right now. Lightsport for 2 says, I'd be on national news if that was my wife. Based and vague pilled. Chud for 2 says, my culture is not Brandon Herrera's costume. True, yeah. Cultural appropriation, dog. Focus Stream Gooner 1488 says, Tony isn't the only one who wants you to hurry, John. Thank you, Mr. Gooner. Mr. Gooner? Justin Space Cowboy for 2 says, Modern Warfare 2019 Shoot House 24/7 build. Yeah, I forgot about that. Do you guys remember Modern Warfare 3 2011? They had Gunslinger mode back in 2011 where it was just like 1v1 or 2v2. That was fun. I thought that was fun. Thank you, Space Cowboy. Zanico for 5 says, Bill makes a Mod 1A and Mark does this. Yeah, Mark is, he's hanging in there. He's doing his thing. Thank you, Zanico. Amorite Boy for 2 says, careful, John, or Marky Mark will block you. I'm hoping so. Somebody's got to do it, all right? I think I'm already blocked too. And then over on Ko-Fi, let me reform this. Barbarian simply says, anal? Thank you, Barbarian. Appropriate name. Stephen Harris. Mitz says, unfortunately, P365 is actually goated for the... Oh, no, wait. We read that one the other day. Sorry, I already read that one, bro. No, I get it. Heathen from Texas for 5 says, I'm late because work is lame. What did I miss about Aero, John? Did you see the vid I sent you of a guy running a match with a Desert Eagle? If it was on Instagram, I am like way behind. I have like 40 unread messages that I have to go through in my primary chat. So I have not seen it yet. But no, Aero is going under. They failed to pay their part of their employees' healthcare, which means that the employees were paying their premiums, right? They were paying for their healthcare and it was coming out of their paychecks. However, Aero Precision, the company, was not paying the employers section. So then Cigna, the healthcare provider, canceled it, of course, because they were not receiving the full amount of funds that they were, promised or agreed upon for their employees' healthcare. So that is what happened. Aero is not looking good. When you're not paying your employees' healthcare, you're not paying your rent, you're not paying your Coders, you're not shipping products, you're not long for this world. And as one man claims online, that they're leaving the firearms industry to move back into aerospace. So, all right, yeah, that is called power factor maxing with 50 AE or 44 or 357. Either one is going to have a nutty power factor on there. But speaking of power factor, okay, the power, the grip of those dogs.
You get to hide those piggies. What's wrong with you, Jake? Why are you so scared?
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Candace Owens decided to drop a documentary piece, 1.5 million views already streamed 5 hours ago. Again, there was like 90,000 people watching it live when I saw it like 2-3 hours ago. I don't know how she still pulls in these absolutely insane numbers. Thank you guys for donating over there on Ko-Fi, completely covering up my face, which is honestly better for the audience. Let's be real. But let's see what this nonsense is about, shall we?
Okay, you guys, there is a very strange thing happening right now where a young woman with absolutely zero professional qualifications has been inserted at the top of a charity organization that pulled in over $250 million last year. And the media is telling you
250,000 people live on Candace Owens' channel. Ironically, the murder assassination of her best friend Charlie Kirk has been the best thing to ever happen to her career. Ever. Absolutely insane. Maybe if you bought it, I guess. Right? I mean, it's possible.
you have no right to know or to ask anything about her. The argument being made is that her husband was murdered, therefore she has a right to assume the position. And despite the fact that Turning Point USA is a literal charity, and therefore it's not even have to pay tax on that $250 million+ or pay tax on the alleged future billions that it's due to rake in thanks to a deal with a man named Pierre, these talking heads are claiming that the public simply wanting to ensure the person who is running that organization is, I don't know, at a bare minimum, moderately honest about who she says she is. No, that inquiry makes you a monster. So I guess your job is to head to work 9 to 5, receive a flurry of unsolicited emails and text messages reminding you that Charlie Kirk, the innocent man that you want.
True. Don't forget that they were a part of that 2012, what was the name of it? Project. The one where you could see into the future, and then that technology stopped working in 2012 because of the Mayan calendar or something. What was the name of that project? Not Project Bluebeam. It was another project because they both went to Jeffrey Epstein School for the Gifted or something like that.
Watch to be executed in broad daylight live. You're to be reminded that was her Charlie. My Charlie needs your help. Here's how you can give us your 401k and house. The emails have been landing into your inbox at an alarming rate, saying things like that. There's virtually nothing that the feds are telling us about his murder that makes any objective sense.
No, that's everybody in chat right now.
Weird about any of that,
everybody in chat right now is
constantly that
Project
she is a
Goonbeam.
grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. That sentence, in my opinion, is this year's Trust the Science. She's a grieving widow. The mainstream media, of course, Zionists implied, are effectively telling you to roll up your sleeves and get the vaccine again, dopes. Tyler Robinson did it. Erica Kirk is grieving. Please allow her to do so in the privacy of the billion-dollar charity that she took over. Remember when they did the 6 feet social distancing thing? They cast that spell.
See, this is what Candace does, though. It's so much word salad, right? She's cast a lot of aspersions. She's said a lot of things. Nothing has actually happened yet. Nothing has actually been presented. Like, I guess this sounds like vaguely intelligent if this is second screen viewing, right? So you're doing something over here, you're playing games, you're talking with friends, and then Candace is over here saying something. She's like a little parrot over here, just squawking, and you kind of drown it out after a while. My words are happening, but nothing is coming out. No information is being, knowledge transfer specialist is not engaged or something, right?
Let your granddad die alone in the hospital. If you desire to see your grandma this Thanksgiving, it's because you're a demon from the gates of hell. Yeah. Resist your human instincts. Obey the government. It's the same kind of messaging, the same kind of emotional manipulation, but it's a new year. Still have questions or concerns about who Erica Kirk is and why she seems to have lied many times on record? Well, you're Satan, and I'm sorry that you are. And also, I would like to...
Dude, I need that clip. Well, you're Satan, and I'm sorry that you are. That's a good clip, dude. Maybe I should actually watch Candace streams just to clip farm. I just need to clip farm Candace. Put her to work in the fields, in the clip fields. All right, Candace, get back to the clip fields. I'm the clip farmer. All right, you're the clip worker. Get back to those cotton clip fields. Okay?
To remind you that you are destroying Charlie's legacy. Now, it is very important that I remind you, we haven't even said anything yet. A 2-minute trailer.
You're right. You're right. You're right, lady.
Resulted in one of the most aggressive preemptive PR strikes that I have ever seen. They posted photos of my manager's infant daughter, my makeup artist, my family members. Lots of voice.
You have a makeup artist and that's what came out? Maybe it's modern art.
Mail for my producer. Okay. Well, this was initially supposed to be just 3 episodes. Now I'm thinking about a season 2 and a season 3. Because if you haven't quite figured me out yet, or thought through how we got here, I don't like it when innocent people are targeted and attacked and on rare occasions shot in the neck in broad daylight. No one blinked when entire investigative series and books were written about Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Meghan Markle, because they're public figures. I've effectively endured 10 years in politics with nonstop exposés and investigations into my background, but we're told...
It's because you do and say so many stupid things, Candace. Do you remember when you were a what's the proper word? A left-wing stooge, and you wanted to create a list of all the right-wing influencers, right? You wanted to create a list of them all, you know, like a doxing portfolio of all the right-wing influencers. This is like 10 years ago at this time. Do you remember that, Candace? So maybe, again, this is women versus accountability, challenge impossible. Maybe it's because you've just done and said so many stupid things over the years, Candace.
Erica is somehow untouchable. Let me tell you something. The truth does not require a multi-million-dollar PR campaign. It also does not fear inspection. So welcome to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
I use that static frame. That's mine. That's copyrighted. Gosh dang it. Nothing. Is no one original these days? No one? You have to steal from me too, Candace? First, you take Erica Kirk's husband, and now my static frames.
Inspection. So welcome to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
I mean, it's nice of them to do the graphics like a Netflix documentary. So what is this called? A Wrinkle in Time. So what? Time traveling Charlie Kirk, X-Men, MK Ultra, something, something.
Where should we begin in the story?
Oh, I thought it was going to be, it's just a splash frame. Is this whole thing just you talking? It's not, I thought it was going to be like an actual documentary style where it like goes through like point by point with interviews and production value. Damn it.
I think maybe with just a blanket statement. Something is not right with Erica Kirk. And despite a most aggressive influence campaign, which at one point even included a signed letter from the Secretary of Treasury assuring us that Turning Point is above board, amazing organization, and despite, in addition to that, a flurry of homosexual men making over dramatic videos about sheer evil, no, not mass murdering children, sheer evil, investigating someone at the helm of a billion-dollar company. Despite all that, the public remains unconvinced that she is simply a grieving widow, because she isn't simply a grieving widow. She's also the CEO and chairman of an organization. In fact, during our preparation for this series, an investigative journalist named Elizabeth Lane went viral on X because what she authored about Erica was brilliant. It just was objectively brilliant. It gave voice to what millions...
See, she keeps talking. She keeps saying things. This thing that somebody wrote was genius. It was brilliant. It was objectively brilliant, right? What, Candace? What?
Millions of people worldwide were feeling, but didn't exactly know how to express. And I'm going to read you her words in their entirety because I think it's very important, okay? Elizabeth Lane wrote, "I'm going to be blunt.
Erica Lane.
I have reached the point where I find Erica Kirk to be deeply disturbing, not because of rumors or gossip, but because of consistent, observable patterns of behavior. To be clear, everything I say in this post is my opinion. I am not claiming this is a fact. I am saying this is what I think Erica Kirk is. I come from the world of acting and modeling. I have spent years around social climbers, opportunists, image curators, and people who treat relationships like ladders. That is why I left that world. Most of these people are shallow and harmless. A few are dangerous. Erica falls into the latter category not because she is just ambitious, but because of how calculated and performative her ambition appears to be. I believe she may be a psychopath. What stands out immediately is the reaction.
So is this just the evidence? The evidence is a post I pulled from Twitter. What is this, a focus trip stream? What is this? This is low quality slop, all right? This is rage bait. This is rage bait for me, though, okay? This is a trick on me, okay? Instead of rage baiting the audience with what I've got pulled up for later, this is just rage baiting me now.
Action that she
I think you
provokes in other
mean
people, which is
content
very
for 2 million people, sir.
True, dude. 2 million truth seekers out there, just vigorously downing this information, okay? Just taking it all in.
very common with psychopaths. Across the board, including people who support her publicly, the private reaction is the same. It's, I can't watch her. It's not a criticism, it's just a physical discomfort. People turn off interviews because the presentation feels artificial to the point of being unbearable. Let me explain. That kind of response does not happen accidentally and does not happen often.
Todd and Dogs, I forget. Charlie Kirk was a hologram, though, right? Because Todd and Dogs, he's got the heat, okay? Todd and Dogs has the heat when it comes to conspiracies. So I forget, was it the guy in the crowd with the wrist gun? Or was it Charlie Kirk was a hologram? Or was it the shooter on the roof behind Charlie? I forget which version of that is true.
Research in psychology shows that humans are highly sensitive to emotional incongruence, mismatches between a facial expression, tone, and content. When the effect appears simulated rather than genuine, the brain registers it as a threat. This activates discomfort and avoidance, even if the person cannot consciously explain why. So many of us felt this way, but we could not explain why we could not watch her. Studies on psychopathy, particularly those building on the work of psychologists like Robert Hare, describe traits such as a rehearsed emotional display and shallow affect. These traits can create what observers experience as an uncanny interpersonal dynamic. The discomfort arises and people want to shut it off.
I loved it when they carried out that hologram. The dead hologram. That was a good move.
No, Josh, she's not reading in 1.5 speed. This is focus.
This is
sped it up slightly.
It's only 1 1/4. So she's talks fast, okay?
Because most people rarely encounter extreme affective mimicry in everyday life. So the brain struggles to categorize what it is detecting. Erica is attractive enough, and she had every tool in her possession to sell this organically, except for one thing, emotion. The entire story of what happened could have helped her sell this fully. She really would have been the last person on earth to be a suspect, if not for the FBI's terrible mistakes, Turning Point USA's lies, and her very fake performance. Plenty of attractive, ambitious women move through media spaces without triggering that response, even though we know what they are. This is about something else, an extreme disconnect between presentation that she puts out and the perceived authenticity.
This is wine mom babble. Like, sorry to ruin your source, Candace, but this is wine mom babble. I have yet to hear something other than random woman citation emotional appeals. Right? She's claiming a bunch of things. She's vague posting. She's vague posting, all right? This is nothing. What am I looking at here?
Erica is not the archetype of a model actress seeking money and fame and then settling into a quiet life with a wealthy, good-looking husband. She is the wolf type, who wants to be in the place of that husband. She is not born for a supporting role. She's a decision maker. She appears to pursue proximity to power, moving fluidly between television, nonprofits, branding opportunities, and ideological spaces that maximize her exposure. Her previous partners are guys that women like her would date, muscular, jacked, good-looking, even though they are not people with huge potential. They are all somewhat established. They are good stepping stones until the right person shows up. Now looking at her previous partners,
You're just describing like 60% of whorish women out there. You know, that is like half of modern women. It's not revelatory. It's not particularly insightful. It's like, did you know rich women who want to improve their standing in life act in a hypergamous fashion? That's crazy, dog. Wow.
I say that Charlie probably was not her type visually, but he was exactly what she was looking for in a man. Potential to be a great power. What Erica was looking for is the same thing Hillary Clinton was looking for when she met Bill. She recognized that Bill Clinton was her ticket to power.
This is also female coded, very female coded. All right. And what I mean by that is they place so much emphasis on the woman being the conniving mastermind behind everything because they read too many novels, let's say, porn, smut, whatever it is, all right? And the woman is the real mastermind behind it all, and she just using the man to elevate herself. And it was really, her own ambition, her own, will to power that was making everything move behind the scenes as she wrapped the world around her finger. All right, dog.
She could control, and she was right. She realized that she could create a great brand out of him and herself, and they still are a brand, the Clintons. No one in this world can say that those two love each other. They are a brand that works. That's why she's sticking around despite Epstein and Lewinsky. Also, if you think Bill is the decision maker there, you must have never been in close proximity to the Clintons. She moves the game. She is the decision maker. Erica saw a brand with Charlie. She also saw that Charlie could one day become president of the United States if he wanted to. Charlie had the ear of the most powerful segment of any society, students. He was going to be a very important player in politics, and she was not missing that ride.
All of this is ironic considering her husband is literally gay and she's in a lavender marriage. She is literally a toy to make people not think that her husband is gay. Like Candace's husband is literally gay and married her because he doesn't care about having kids with her, right? It's just about appearances.
What is striking is how completely her public identity reshapes itself after that relationship begins.
See, here's the thing, James. I 100% agree with you. Erica Kirk is weird AF. I think she might be a psychopath too. Doesn't mean she had a hand in killing her husband just because she's a scummy person,
She did have a sus rise to power and some of the charities that she was involved with, but
that's the interesting stuff. That's what I thought this was going to be. Talk about the charities, okay, overseas. Talk about Romania, okay? Talk about her pageantry, her connections with Trump, okay? Talk about some of her other donors, the CIA marketing material that she's been in, okay? Talk about that stuff. That's interesting. That's cool. Not this. Not random woman author has a woman moment on Twitter. I don't care. And again, like 100,000 people are watching this live.
The aesthetic, the tone, the values, the presentation all change. Overnight, the persona shifts into the role that best suits Charlie's world. Devoted Christian, modest, a supportive housewife. That kind of rapid adaptation is quite impressive for a usual person, but not for a psychopath because they do it all the time. In my head, the story goes like this. For a moment, it works. She becomes the wife of a rising political figure with access to donors, institutions, and national platforms. At that point, the ceiling isn't social media influence. It's empire building, foundations, global reach, a legacy, a brand, the Kirks. It's obvious that Charlie listens to her, whether it's about donors or the trajectory of Turning Point USA. The most influential figure in any mentally healthy man's life is going to be his wife. She's going to be the biggest influence, and that is just how it is. That is why you need to pick your partner wisely. And everything was going well until Charlie began making decisions based on conscience rather than expansion and money. He turns down money. He refuses to play dirty politics. I am assuming someone like Erica, who married into this because she had a vision for this brand, would not be very happy about that.
Yeah, dude, this is one of those free audiobooks that's on YouTube by an author you've never heard of. Does this just keep going? It does, dude. It literally does.
I can't.
All right. What's her finishing statement on this post? Is there something interesting in here at all?
This is just my opinion. It's a good place to start. It is a good place to start.
Thank you,
there
woman.
are a lot of things that Elizabeth said.
There's literally no claims. There's not a single claim being made. Why did you read that for 15 minutes?
Just my opinion. Oh, it's a good place to start.
Well, no, but
that's
literally,
a horrible place to start.
The only claim in here is that I think Erica's a psychopath. Like, that's it. Like, I think Erica, Freudian slip, is strange. I think there's a lot of weird things, a lot of strange little things happening here and there for sure. Okay, all right. But I could have told you that in 4 seconds, guys. I think Erica's weird. I think there's something up there. We should look into her past a little bit. That took like 4 seconds, dog.
It's a good place to start. It is a good place to start because there are a lot of things that Elizabeth said there that I think I am going to be able to prove, adapting her personality.
Freudian slip. That goes hard. That's very good.
How far in are we when she decides to
the
start?
lies that she tells?
We're about 12 minutes in. What's the next? So this is, okay, I'm skipping Elizabeth Lane's statement. What an absolute waste of time. You incompetent, what did I say in the script? You inexorably incompetent mongoloid. Please.
Why is the president of France, who himself is a victim of minor sex abuse, so concerned about that conversation being opened up? Independent study into Sigmund Freud and what he and his colleagues were doing in Vienna is crucial for you to understand what is going on in this.
Okay, Freud Disgusting human being. Should be beat to death with hammers, honestly. Like, realistically, beat to death with hammers is the kind option, okay, for Mr. Freud. Let's be clear about that.
World and the way that the world works, okay? Now, pivoting back to Erica and her story, I will tell you my personal opinion and my experience with her. What alarms me about Erica isn't so much the fact that she lies, which we will prove to you over and over again, but it's also the fact that I don't know that she's aware that she's lying. It's almost as though she doesn't remember. Like the version that she's telling us today or yesterday was just recently downloaded into her mind, and she therefore thinks it's true, like a faulty memory or something. I'm saying that I'm not sure if she's fully aware that she's lying, because it's like,
Candace, are you calling her retarded? And also, I think this is a huge self-report, dog. I think this is, awareness level minus 9,000. All right, there are some major debuffs going on to Candace's self-awareness here. Okay, as she just spews forth absolutely nothing, dude. Floydian slip, also good. All right. Wrinkles in upbringing. Are we going to finally talk about Erica yet? Or can we get to the weird stuff?
Learned a lot from her mother, Lori Franzwey. After welcoming her daughter in November of 1988, Franzwey divorced Erica's father, Kent Franzwey, and raised her as a single mother in Scottsdale, Arizona. Lori spent nearly 2 decades working for General Electric before founding multiple companies in the network security industry, according to her LinkedIn. So you can see they're seeding the public with the idea that you can raise kids and be a single mom and also be a CEO and boss babe it. Okay. The only problem is that it's just not true. Erica.
What? See, this is what she does. She takes something that is real, right? Like I could Israel, what? Like I could take this from Wikipedia, copy and paste this into my editor. Okay. So I take like facts and then I twist that into, see, this is predictive programming for single motherhood. It's like, well, or alternatively, Erica Kirk just has a rich family. Could be true.
I do not. There are some who had to temporarily have to switch that role. That happened to my parents a long time ago. Granted, again, they got a divorce, so that probably falls into your bucket. But
I am an anthropologist.
But my dad was a stay-at-home dad for a few years, and I got to say it was really sweet and really special. I was 4, but that was...
Of course, it's not an indictment of the morality.
No, but if you're saying from the get-go, I want to be a stay-at-home
It is a imbalance.
dad.
It's an imbalance of nature.
So stay-at-home dad for a couple of years. She remembers it, so I would assume started at 4 for a couple of years. People don't typically remember being 1 and 2, and now he wasn't in her life. Now, to be clear, Erica was 10 years old when her parents divorced in 1998. So her father was...
Yeah, absolutely meaningless conversation between the two. I'm waiting for the next theory, which is going to be that Erica Kirk is not Erica Kirk anymore, that they've replaced Erica. Okay, because Erica's looking a little rougher these days. Granted, some things have happened in the meantime. But that's going to be the next, I'm calling it now, that's the next conspiracy theory, is that sometime in like late 2023, Erica Kirk was replaced. Charlie Kirk, he got wise to it. He figured out that the Floyd was not Floyding the way the Floyd was Floyding before. Okay. And that's why he had to be taken out, because he noticed the swap. I think it's real. I think that's 100% real. I mean, when you think about it, if you look at Erica's early life, it shows that she's able to drop one father and move to another. And I think this is a good indication that she was swapped out in late 2023. I think that checks out.
People are generally bewildered as to why Erica is now publicly representing as though she does not have a relationship with Kent, the man that she claims is her father, at least. Or also something she fails to mention is that even if you removed Kent, Erica was raised with her stepfather in her home, a man named Larry Ginta. In her high school yearbook, actually, Kent is included, her father, biological father, in a collage, and so are his parents, her grandparents, Carl and Elaine. So we can reasonably assume that her father was in her life. We can also assume from that photo that Erica was exceedingly close to her stepfather too. You can bring that back up and I'll show that. But he's featured.
What does this matter? Here's a picture of her yearbook. She has a stepdad because her parents got divorced when she was 10. Who cares? 2 million people watching this. Who cares? Oh yeah, let's get to gay Macron or trans Macron. Let's do that.
Now you will see throughout this investigation that there are a lot of little wrinkles like this in Erica's story. The question is, what broader purpose do they serve? Because I thought about that, and I remember reading in Xavier Poussard's book, Becoming Brigitte, that it is actually an intentional strategy of deception.
So hasn't this guy actually just been outed as a fraud? Right? The guy who famously goes after Brigitte Macron. Hasn't this guy actually been outed like as a fraud himself? So Candace citing him is not necessarily the best thing. Not great
she
evidence.
Also just plugging her own, like, she read the book.
Well, Candace Owens presents, right, an investigation by Xavier Poussard.
Yeah, but I think
strategy
she also did the audiobook.
Sure. I don't know. I'll take it. I'll take your random Twitter post as proof that it happened. So I mean, that's all. That's all the evidence we need. It's basically objectively facts.
Yeah, somebody
by the media in creating and curating a legend about, in this case, he was talking about Brigitte, how the press would intentionally make minor edits or overlook certain dates, small adjustments rather, made over a long period of time, a date wrong here, an age miscalculation there, just ever so slightly, because minor tweaks over a long period.
Why are the inside of her hands so white? Does she paint herself black?
No, that's a light-skinned thing.
No, the inside of her hands are white. The inside of her hands are whiter than mine. No, that is a white girl. That is a no. This is a white girl that paints herself black. Yeah, that's why she has a makeup artist. This is check. Oh. I see it now. I see it. Okay, I'm cutting through the matrix here. Candace Owens. More like Clarice Owens. I see you.
Period of time aren't noticeable, even though they ultimately amount to a big lie. This is exactly what I have found to be immediately frustrating about examining Erica's life. Minor tweaks that almost look like they could be mistakes. And you go, but really? Do people make these kinds of mistakes? Let's start with her birthday. Okay, I'll give you another example here. Erica Franzwey, we are told, was born on November 20th, 1988 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Great, there's a newspaper relic announcing her birth 2 weeks later on December 6th. It tells us that she was born at Good Samaritan Hospital. Fantastic. To Kent and Lori.
See, now this is the thing. Somebody will take something from the 1970s and be like, look, these dates don't match up. Surely this is a sign of a cover-up, right? A glitch in the matrix, or it's just two people of the same name or very similar name, a typing error, a date error, a clerical error, a misprint, whatever it might be, right? Like if you look up my name on the internet and, my date of birth, 10/25/1995, you're going to get a bunch of random stuff, okay? You might even find, guess what, that there were multiple Jonathan Campbells born on that date in different locations. This might be a cover up for my birth story. Maybe I was really somebody else's parent or somebody else's son all along. What the heck? I'm cracking the code.
Franzwey, check. Amazing. By the way, it's just something to know about Good Samaritan Hospital.
Yeah, mother's maiden name and name of your favorite pet growing up, please.
Hospital, a little fun fact. That actually used to be the U.S. Marines Hospital. One that once upon a time caused a little bit of a scandal for unethically experimenting on the brains of patients. Anyway, the story goes that the U.S. Marine Hospital just up and decided to gift the hospital to the Catholic Sisters of Charity out of the goodness of their Marine hearts or something, because our military is known for that, just being really, really kind and giving up hospitals. Point is, we learned from this newspaper clipping that Erica was born on November.
So again, she's putting things together that aren't even there, right? So Army Hospital gets donated to a Catholic service. That checks out because the Catholic Church has a ton of power. If they say that they need something, you have a Catholic general, Catholic leadership somewhere that's like, hey, we have this thing, we can donate it here. We don't have to pay for it anymore. Lots of this stuff just happens normally, right? She's asserting that this is crazy. She's asserting that this is out of the norm, insane, when it's just like day-to-day operation stuff. It's not it might be like out of the norm as in it doesn't always happen, but it certainly does happen at times.
Well,
For 20th,
correlation
and she
always
maintains
equals
that.
causation when you wanted to.
Oh, but I don't even get what's the correlation. U.S.
Because
military
one
donates a
thing
hospital
happened
to
here
this
and another
nunnery.
thing happened there. It's a connection. You don't see that. You
Well,
don't see the
but
connection.
what is she asserting? She's like, yeah, that's fake. Is she saying that's a lie? Because she's acting incredulous, right? She's acting incredulous to this, donation of a hospital to this nunnery or to this Catholic women's ministry. It's like, but that's not like out of the ordinary. Like, people, rich people and powerful organizations make donations to big churches all the time for different reasons, different purposes. I mean, there's a history of this going back like 1700 years, dog. But I mean, because of course, Constantine, first Christian emperor of the Roman Empire in 320, right? So 1700 years of this sort of big donations and, political people using the church and vice versa to get favors or to, gain status, whatever it might be. It's not out of the ordinary.
Birthday today. But oddly, that would be news to her parents. Kent and Lori, for whatever reason, think that Erica was born 2 days later on November 22nd. We know this because of their divorce filings, which took place in 1998. On that divorce initial filing, Lori, who filed, lists Erica as having been born on November 22nd, multiple times. Now, in case you're thinking, well, maybe this was a mistake, you should know that the filing done by her mother, Lori, only has 4 statements of fact. It's effectively a one-pager. One of the facts is that Kent and Lori were married on November 20th, 1995 in Marblehead, Massachusetts. So they decided to get married on what would have been Erica's 7th birthday. Okay, that's strange. I mean, at least the birthday she says she has, but this document is saying, no, she's born 2 days later. So I guess it wasn't her 7th birthday. Attached to this document,
Right. So what if I granted her position here that she changed her own birthday or she celebrates her birthday on a different day? So what is this relating to? Why is this nefarious or odd? Right? So like I know people who were born on like Christmas. They don't celebrate their birthday on Christmas though. They do it like 2 days after, 3 days after, whatever else it might be, right? Because they don't want to overlap like that. Is that nefarious for some reason? Couldn't this still just be a lawyer making a typo? Right? Like what are we talking about?
which was filed on July 20th, 1998, is another document that I can only assume was scanned in with an intention to further confuse people. It's a separation agreement, which is not notarized.
Wait, why would they intend to misrepresent her birthday by 2 days? What could possibly be the purpose of switching her birthday by 2 days? Yeah, James Reeve's birthday is always on whatever day the last Friday of SHOT Show. Yeah. But what is the purpose? Like, who cares? What is the intent? Like, what are we trying to prove? Like, even if I grant you that they changed the birthday and they tried to cover it up, why? Like, why would we even care?
It's not dated, so it's almost not relevant. And it completely edits the date of the marriage between Kent and Lori from November 20th, 1995 down to November 7th, 1982. A casual 13 years and 13 days wiped out, okay? Like I said, you can just ignore that because I think that document was just put in there to confuse people. Take it from me.
Or it's, again, misprint because some lawyer's legal assistant somewhere is retarded.
I'm a notary, one in the state of New York, although my license is expired. You can't just skip over a notary report.
Black woman, expired license, not keeping up on things, not changing out batteries on time. I'm seeing a pattern here. Honestly, I'm seeing a pattern now. Okay, Candace, I'm on to you.
Portion of a document and just be fine with that. In fact, we decided to dig through Ohio law and other publicly available divorce documents to see what they look like, and they are legitimate. And here's a side-by-side so you can see on the right is what is scanned into their file with totally different dates. And on the left, you can see that that's what it should look like. You get it notarized, okay? But it's going to get even more absurd when we examine the divorce decree. So for the uninitiated, the first document is just the filing. I, Lori, am pursuing a divorce, and here are the facts. And now what comes after that is the decree or the final judgment, okay? Now, I do want to note that this was the fastest divorce in the history of divorce. She filed on July 20th, 1998. And then we have a decree on November 10th of the same year. So this is like 3 months later. Once again, the marriage date is listed, the initial marriage date between Kent and Lori, as November 20th, 1995 in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
What is happening to YouTube? Where are comments? How far down do I have to get to comments? Oh my gosh. Do you really have to scroll that far down to get to comments?
Yep.
Point is, don't lie to Candace's face. Your family tree will surface. Okay. Who else will be here for season 2 and 3? If I ever petition to keep asking questions while it's still legal to be merged. Anyone else who survived the longest week in recorded human history? All right, Liz, whatever. Everything they've been telling us is far, far from the truth. Like what? Misrepresenting a birthday by 2 days, if true? Yeah, I was hoping for like a documentary, you know, Tiger King level documentary on this. Okay. I want something with production value. I don't want Candace scribbling, you know, red lines between a bunch of different random dates on a wall. What is this?
You can see that somebody just went in and tried to edit that date by hand afterward, adjusting the wedding date down this time to 1985, not 1982, hoping, I guess, that no one would catch that. I guess the unnotarized 1982 that we saw in the initial filing.
You know what's funny is I've made mistakes like this where I have to go back in and edit a bunch of documents, and it's so obnoxious to do. So what if this whole diatribe here of the different dates is literally one retard like myself who put a date wrong, and then I copied it wrong like 3 different times for whatever reason, right? And then I had to go back and retroactively try and fix them. We could literally be looking at the work of a single man being retarded. Yeah, this, you know, 20 years later is like scrummaging through all this stuff. Like, in 1995, one retard miscopied a date 3 times.
Was too difficult. It would have been too obvious. So this time they're attempting to do it by hand and edit the date of marriage back just 10 years, not 13 years. This is not subtle. It is not normal. And it bothers me greatly. Take it from someone who is chronically being sued. That is not how modifications work on court documents. You can't just use a pen and write something on a divorce decree. You just can't do that. People have to initial, you got to date, you got to see who saw it. This is crazy to me. My suspicion, and again, this is just a general suspicion, is that this was done after the fact. Maybe someone had a friend down at the county clerk who was responsible for scanning those docs into the system. And they just kind of did that. Because that's not real life. That's just not real life. And once again.
All right, Candace. I got to skip this though. We're only going to give it like 5 more minutes. Then we're going to get into rage bait once we're past the 2-hour mark. But geez Louise.
Yeah, dog.
Okay, so we obviously cannot go so far as to suggest that Loretta Abbas, Stanley, Wallstad, Franz was openly committing fraud. We can't say that. What we can confirm to you, however, is that if she was doing that, breaking the law and committing fraud is something that Lori's family is kind of historically known for. They kind of arrived into this country doing just that. You see, Lori Franz, like I said, was born Loretta Abbas. She was named after her Syrian grandmother, Loretta Abbas. I want to sear into your mind right now that the Abbas family history is steep in gambling and casinos. All about.
Bro, are they Native American? What the heck, dog? Calling me out like that? Unbelievable. Just kidding. I don't really gamble.
Gambling and casinos specifically. As we go along in the series, the history and the present of gambling casinos is going to become increasingly relevant. So let's bring in the OG Loretta Abbas, Erica's great-grandmother who died in 1990, who is just constantly being arrested for running illegal slot machines. Okay, she came over from Syria and she got to work bringing filth and fraud in Pennsylvania. You check out this article from 1941 where she testifies that she ran numbers. It says Loretta Abbas of Washington, Thomas Roberts, whatever, testified that they engage in the numbers business and had been arrested on numerous occasions. They explained their role in the numbers lottery without giving any direct testimony against the defendants. Okay, here's another one. We could keep going, but here's another article from 1944 where she pleads guilty to a lottery charge. It was before the court. She wasn't lying. She's always arrested on a lottery charge. The state police had a search warrant, and when they entered her house, they found a quantity of number slips. She was sentenced to pay the costs and $200 or 5 months in the county jail.
Again, somebody in the 1940s was doing an illegal lottery system and, you know, playing the numbers game, right? Being a bookie, being an underground bookie back in the day. I don't even care. Like, all this stuff is legal now anyways, dude. You can't get away from gambling in the modern era. Who cares? This is like dragging up somebody's alcohol collection during Prohibition. I don't care, dog. Like, imagine smearing my family name because we ran a distillery in like 1926 or something like that, or whatever before Prohibition ended. I don't even know. Like, who cares? Who cares, dude?
She was sentenced to pay the costs and $200 or 5 months in the county jail. Like I said, this was a family thing. Her husband was Mason Abbas, and he was magnificently fraudulent. I'm talking high-speed chases down the highway, lottery tickets blowing in the wind. Check out this article from 1935, and it tells us that he was overtaken in his automobile after a chase of several miles after.
Now, I also have a bit of an issue, but are we sure that these are the same people, right? I mean, it's big country. I don't know how big we were back in 1935. Probably 200 million, 150 million, somewhere in that range. And is it possible that there was multiple Mason Abbases, or does the date also check out? Like, are we actually sure that this is the same person? And again, if true, who cares about somebody 90 years before Erica Kirk comes to the scene? Like, who cares? Yeah, it's like Doc Brown. Where'd he go? My great grandfather was a bootlegger. Like, I don't care. It's like, all right, whatever, bruh. What did somebody say about my family? Keep my family's name out your mouth. I'm gonna slap you.
He had failed to obey the officer's order to stop. Yes, Mason Abbas was arrested yesterday by County Detective Frank Krebs.
Damn. When we were real country. 115 million sounds a lot better, not gonna lie. Thank you, traveler.
Before an alderman, he was held for court in default of a $1,000 bond on a charge of conducting a lottery and was fined $10 and costs for refusing to stop when ordered to do so by
$10. $10 back in 1935 would be like what, 150 bucks now? So I mean, that's something, but that's basically nothing, right? So conducting lottery, default of $1,000 bond, fined $10 and costs for refusing to stop in order to do so. $10. Imagine not stopping for a police officer and getting fined $10. Imagine getting fined $10, all right, for not stopping for a police officer. Back when we were a real country, before we were a police state, okay?
Uniformed officer.
Even $236 for failing to stop for an officer, for defaulting on a $1,000 bond, for conducting an illegal lottery, $236, that's your fine? That's buying power. That's real buying power in 1935, okay?
During the race along the National Pike, which ended in West Alexander, Abbas is alleged to have thrown a package of 100 lottery tickets from his car. Officers recovered the tickets and are holding them as evidence. Yes, lottery, gambling, slot machines. Again, steer that into your mind. Not just on Erica's maternal side of the family, not just the Abbas side, but also the Swedish side, the Fransve side. The Swedish side of the family, I will be clear, there's a notable difference. It seems like they've been involved legally. Carl Kenneth Fransve is Erica's paternal grandfather. Okay, he participated extensively in horse racing. More crucially, though, he was an executive at the American Bank.
Rich family does rich family things. I get it. All right, she comes from a rich Swedish background mostly. And she looks like a Swedish girl from a affluent family, but where is the connection to her murdering Charlie Kirk? Right? Because that's the claim that we're trying to work up to, right? That she had some hand in Charlie Kirk's death, her husband's death. I want to see that claim and how any of this ties together. This is like a safari, okay? And Candace is both the driver, she's both the guide and the exhibit in this safari down Erica Kirk's background, or her family's background anyways. Where are we going? We don't exactly know because the drivers had a little too much Henny. Little too much Henny.
Note company in Illinois. This is the company that was responsible for printing lottery tickets. It's a big contract, a big deal. Here he is in a newspaper in 1974 doing just that. It reads, printing began this week on the first Illinois state lottery tickets. Up to 10,000 agents. It tells us at the bottom there that Kent Fransve of the American Banknote Company, the printer, examines the first tickets of the initial press run. Let's stick with Grandpa Carl Kenneth Fransve for a little bit because he is, by all accounts, obviously Swedish. Erica herself is therefore Syrian Lebanese on her mother's side and Swedish on her father's side. So something which struck me as immediately odd about Erica is just how deeply she identifies as Swedish, despite her public insistence that she was raised by a quote unquote single mother. Think about that. Just
who cares? She looks Swedish. All right. Listen, if I have like 10% Choctaw in me, am I going to be like, listen, I'm Choctaw. I'm not, I'm not Miss Pocahontas. I'm not, I forgot her name. What's the stupid senator's name? 10%. No, she's like 0% Native American, but she claims that she is. Which one is that, Richard? You know the one, the wine granny. Richard, help me out here. Elizabeth Warren, that's the one. Are you dead, Richard? Are you there?
I am dying very, very slowly.
Okay. All right. Elizabeth Warren, that's the one. All right. Listen, if I was 10% Choctaw, I wouldn't care. I would be like, no. I'm like Scottish, all right. Scottish. Not coping over here. Scottish.
from a social perspective. If Erica was indeed raised by a single mother, wouldn't you expect her to identify more deeply with those Lebanese?
No, because she's white with blonde hair. Does she look Lebanese to you? Does it look like she was raised in a Lebanese community? No, she was raised in an affluent white family, and she has Swedish blonde hair. Like, who cares that her mother was like, what, 20% Lebanese or something because they came over in the 1920s? Right? 1910s? Right? What are we talking about? Emoko has, well, that's where the anime comes from, is that one Han Chinese chromosome. So at least we know where that came from.
These Syrian roots, right? You might even understand it if she resented her Swedish roots. Like, my dad didn't do anything, and so I'm not even doing anything with the Swedes. I don't even like being Swedish. To the contrary, Erica feels so deeply attached to her Scandinavian roots that in 2019, she moved to begin the process of obtaining her dual citizenship. She posted this herself, where she is, dual citizenship commenced. Okay. Maybe you're thinking logically, well,
I mean, that shouldn't be allowed in the United States. That's mega cringe. Mega cringe. But I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe Erica is internally coping and she's trying to pretend to only be white. She's trying to pretend to be, Swedish, because she doesn't like the fact that she has this other side to her that she tries to downplay. Maybe she internally doesn't like that and she's trying to identify more with her Swedish roots. And head back there. Still cringe, though. Dual citizenship should not be allowed in any serious country. We're going to skip to the end. There's got to be a conclusion, right? I don't really care about her family history. I don't really care about her time in school all that much. Well, I guess it goes to comments afterwards. Let's listen to the last 2 minutes, okay?
And they help taxpayers nationwide get back on track with resolving back taxes and unfiled returns once and for all. So whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their team has...
Really, Candace?
Doing that is so, like, we should be saying that. We want to say that now. I want to adopt that. I want to say that's my farfar. That's my morfar. Like, that just makes sense. I hate having to explain that's my mother's fault. It's like, why can't we just call my farfar? That's my farfar. That's my morfar. Anyways, you guys are killing it over there in Sweden. That was fantastic. And I loved that tidbit. That was like a journey. I'm like, what? You can't just say that. You can't just call him, you can't call your morfar a morfar if he's your farfar. I get it. I'm Swedish now. I'm into the culture. Okay. But by the way, do you think they have the looking glass? Like, I'm just wondering. Why were they spazzing out about it? And I look at this, why are Jewish people naming their schools Looking Glass? I'm just wondering. It's just like creative.
I got rage baited. 200,000 people watching that live. 200,000 people allegedly watching that live. You should, if you see me in public, you should shoot me. You should kill me for making you watch that. I apologize. That was worse than rage bait. That was worse. I don't have words. I don't have words for the farfar. I want to be far away from that. How about that? Andrew N over on Ko-Fi for $50.
Gee, Patrick, do you think Squidward was trying to tell us something?
Oh, shit, nigga!
$50 says good LPVO or MPVO that's 34 millimeter. I bought the wrong mount, but don't feel like sending it back. Hashtag Tally is queen. Tally is second best girl. Okay. We're still Team Rex over here. But seriously, Christ is king. Thank you, Andrew. What is a good LPVO that uses 34 millimeters? I was looking through Was it the Leopold 2-10? Looks hot if you're looking for an MPVO. If you're going budget, you have the Athlon 2-12. You have the Vortex Venom 3-15 for MPVOs, of course. For a good LPVO or decent LPVO that's budget, you actually have the Arkin EP8. It's okay for 34 millimeter LPVOs. It's okay. What else do we got? For expensive LPVOs that are 34 millimeter main tube, if you want to spend a little bit more, you can get something like the Vortex Razor AMG, the Gen 3, Razor HG Gen 3, which is really expensive. I personally don't like it all that much, but I know some people do. It's not my thing, but I know some people like it. Let's see. What else? 34 mils are a little bit harder to come by. Or not harder to come by, but at least I'm not as familiar with them as others because I usually don't go into the super high-end stuff. I think most of the Trigicons are 30 mil tubes. What's like a 34 mil tube? I mean, the Vector Continental, if you want cheap German glass, are about $700, $800. That's a decent one. You get a 1-8 or 1-10. Do you have that one, Richard, or who has that one?
Yeah, I've got the Vector 1-8.
1-8, okay. Yeah, there are some good options out there for sure, but it depends on your budget. And I'm not super familiar with the very expensive stuff because obviously I focus a little bit more on budget. But Andrew N, thank you very much. $50 is very base of you. The Law from VGHS says, "What denomination are you?" and thoughts on Bruce Mejia on Instagram. I don't know Bruce Mejia. I am technically a Protestant, but I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I was looking into Orthodoxy. So technically Protestant. I was raised Protestant. Raised Baptist, but I don't believe in Baptist fundamentals. So, is what it is. Weird place for me right now. I've seen him, but I am not familiar with his work. So I have seen him. I recognize his face, but I'm not familiar with his works. Thank you, The Law from VGHS. Appreciate that. Caveman for 2 says Glock 19 versus Glock 17 for CCW. Well, obviously the Glock 19 is a little better for concealed carry. It's a little more comfortable. It's a little easier. It's still very shootable and probably the best overall gun out there. But I mean, I carry a Glock 17 because I don't really care about the exercise. So, but if I had to pick an ideal, it would be the 19. Thank you.
I carry a Glock 22 because I'm black.
Fair enough. Lightsport for 2 says the new Planet of the Apes commercial is weird. Weird. Very weird. Oh, do I have the other Candace clip? I know there's another one I had. I don't know if I still have that one. Here it is.
It feels a little fake and gay. Gotta tell you guys, it feels a little fake and gay, and there will be no fakeness and no gayness.
Sheep Herder for 2 says listening in earnest to avoid not for me. Yeah, is that what listening to women is like? Can people in the chat confirm whether or not that's what listening to women is actually like? Josh Howard for 5 says, I thought that was a pretty gay intro, even for Trench. Here's 250. Thanks, Joshua Howard. Appreciate it. That was rough. Velociraptor Legs for 2 says, can we skip this part? Black versus Jew cage match. Lame. No, that's what we want, dude. We want Tyrone and Shlomo to battle it out. With the steel chair. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, EK is a dude and a Satanist. I have proof. All right. Dude, Todd and Dogs and Candace locked in a room together would go wild. Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Velociraptor Legs for 5 says, you think Candace thinks the Kirk and George droid edits are real? Ooh. Dude, do you think she looks at those just desperately waiting for the next update? She's like, when it says to be continued, she's like, oh, where's the rest of it? Where is he? Where is he in Agartha? Where's Agartha? She's frantically Googling how to get to Agartha. Thank you, Velociraptor Legs. Blood-Based sends a $5 super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you. Asian Massage Review says, that's what I'm going to call a relapse from now on. A Floydian slip. Yeah, a relapse. Listen, George Floyd, 7 years sober? 6-7 years sober? Everyday American for 5 says, either Brigitte Macron is a dude or an older woman groomed the president of France at the age of 14. None of this leads to good things. Correct. Very true. Yeah. I mean, it could also be a tranny. Could, right? Absolutely. It's possible. But, or just a pedo. Take your pick. Everyday American, regular pedo or tranny pedo? Take your pick. Thank you, Everyday American. Sheep Herder for 5 says, only way we can be sure Candace is black, get her in a room with the Trinity, grape Gatorade, Popeye's chicken and watermelon, and see her reaction. Somebody is going to type that into Grok right now and be like, can you tell me how Candace, or can you make this into a video of Candace Owens in a room with all this stuff together and just let me know how it goes. Thank you, Sheep Herder. CM Scar for 2 says, I want to watch Blacktivities, John. We're getting to it. We're getting to the Blacktivities. Thank you, Scar. Cody Fisher for 10 says, Miss Gorilla Grip got a Hellcat in the back garage. I want to meet her simply to verify my hypothesis on the chocolate specimen. Did you, much like the moon is made out of cheese, I do have a suspicion with some evidence that chocolate people are among us. Did he just say among us? All right. Let's get to rage bait and actual just regular news stories, shall we? Although there was one that just came through on Ko-Fi. Barbarian says Isaiah 6-8 me when Candace is single. Oh no. Let's see. Here I am. Send me. True. All right. Mr. Barbarian is hungry for the chocolate. Okay. He needs a little bit of a sweet treat. And the only thing on his mind is that Candace brand chocolate.
I got a bit of a treat for chat. Check your Discord real quick.
Oh, this is the extra Han chromosome floating around.
Yep.
Looks exactly as I would have expected. Got that extra Han chromosome in him. I'm glad you're putting that to use, Samoko. All right. Anyways, speaking of weird people doing weird things, the FBI serves a search warrant at LAUSD headquarters and superintendent's home. Bum, bum, bum. The FBI served search warrants at the San Pedro home and the Los Angeles Unified School District headquarters office of the superintendent Alberto Carvalho. What a weird last name. On Wednesday morning, an additional raid at the home in Florida is also tied to the investigation, sources say. Federal officials served the warrants as part of an ongoing investigation, according to a person familiar with the matter who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the probe. The nature of the investigation and what the allegations were being examined was not immediately clear. Multiple sources, however, said that while the case remains under seal, the case is white-collar, likely a financial crime, and is not related to immigration enforcement at all. Definitely not an ICE raid on the superintendent of an LA school. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California told ABC7, law enforcement is executing a judicially approved search warrant at these locations. We have no further comment. The district released a statement late Wednesday morning saying it's cooperating with the investigation. LAUSD is an independent body not governed by the city of Los Angeles. The mayor's office has no information about this. So, actually, I'm curious because this was put in here. Blu-ray jackets, Carvalho's Bears, 20. Neighbors told Eyewitness News they were alarmed when the operation at the superintendent's home began around 6 a.m. John Schaefer described seeing multiple officers with their guns drawn pointing at the Carvalho home. I'm thinking, well, maybe there was an intruder. Well, that's not true. Multiple neighbors said they saw a man placed in handcuffs. Eyewitness News is working to confirm whether that individual was Carvalho. Sources say no one was arrested at the scene. All right. Tuesday. Okay, I thought this was going to be about CP. Apparently, I was misinformed about this story. Gosh dang it. Let me see if there's an update on this real fast. Richard, how's your week been?
It got significantly better a few minutes ago when I believe it was Jed Bain here. Let's see if I can find the comment for you because you missed it. He said, bro got that dog in him. Hopefully you don't eat it.
I did see that.
That was, I almost choked on my drink. That was, you guys cracked me up.
Breaking news, the superintendent of LAUSD appears to be the target of an investigation by the...
Okay, shoot, we're going to have to wait on that one. I'll see if I can find that. But in a slightly funnier story, I don't know if funny is the right word, but in a slightly different story anyways, We have another trans shooter, another trans incident of violence, taking shots at people for fun. Border shooting suspect, a trans Manchester resident. The suspect who shot at a border agent over the weekend has been identified as Zeke Daly, 26, a Manchester man who used the feminine identity, Blue Zeke Daly? Whatever, Daly faces up to 40 years in prison on charges of attempted murder of a federal officer and assaulting a federal officer with a deadly weapon. He is currently, that's a good thing that they're using the proper pronouns here. He is currently under armed guard at a New Hampshire hospital receiving treatment for a gunshot wound suffered during the incident. The identity of the border agent has not been made public. The agent was not injured in the shooting. So a trans shooter who had, male aggression, but female success rate. So it's the worst of both worlds. According to the complaint, the agent encountered Daly driving home in Stewartson near the Canadian border shortly before midnight Saturday. During their conversation, the agent asked Daly whether he had used any other names. Daly then drove away, which is a great way to get yourself arrested, pit stopped, or a number of other things. The agent followed Daly as he drove approximately 10 miles to the Pittsburgh port of entry on the U.S.-Canadian border. By that time, it was past midnight, the crossing was closed, and the gate was locked. According to the complaint, the agent activated the emergency lights on his cruiser and exited the vehicle. Daly began to turn and then fired a handgun at the agent. The agent returned fire, striking Daly and wounding him. According to the FBI, a search of Daly's vehicle recovered a Smith & Wesson SD9 2.0. Uh-oh. Smith & Wesson owners, the choice handgun of trans shooters everywhere? Uh-oh. Blue Daly's social media profile is a character from a manga. Anime? Trans? Smith & Wesson? Uh-oh. Daly has not yet appeared before a judge for arraignment, and no hearing has been scheduled according to the court calendar. Oh, we have a video of it. Let's check out the video.
A 26-year-old from Manchester. We were forced to break this story late on Sunday night.
Chat.
And it's been tough to get information. It's really been piecemeal. But now we know that this suspect is from Manchester. A 26-year-old from Manchester is in the hospital tonight after allegedly exchanging fire with Border Patrol in Pittsburgh early Sunday morning. According to an affidavit filed this afternoon, Blue Zeke Daly, who is also known as Zeke Daly, fired shots at an agent who then returned fire and shot Daly. The FBI says that Daly had been stopped in Stewartstown by the agent who asked whether Daly used other names. Daly then immediately drove away. Investigators say that officer followed Daly, and when Daly approached the U.S.-Canada border, Daly tried to drive off and started shooting. The officer then returned fire, according to the affidavit, before Daly lost control and ended up in a snowbank. Officers found a handgun and ammunition and is facing...
Man, I'm never going to be able to think about Greek yogurt again. Shadowrunner, thank you very much for ruining a daily treat of mine. Tragic. Greek yogurt. All right.
several charges, including attempted murder of a federal officer. The FBI is now leading this investigation alongside the U.S. Attorney in New Hampshire. Now, both of these charges carry up to 20 years in prison, respectively, and fines of up to $250,000. In Manchester, Ariel Metropolis, WMUR News.
All right. Well, thank you very much, ma'am, for that. I want to see a picture, though. Show me Blue Zeke Daly, or what was his name? Like Connor or something? Whatever, Connor. I need to see a picture. What is this man? What does this man look like? Does he match? Okay, because I have an image in my head. Okay, does he match that? I need to know. I need to know if my spiders. I need to know if my spider senses are still working properly. Colon Zeke Daly. Come on, this guy's got to have a picture. He's a weeb. Okay, can't help it. Is there really no picture of the guy? Come on. Where? What? How is that even possible? Is it because he's injured? Because he's in the hospital somewhere?
Nah, all of the powers that be probably scrubbed his account.
I mean, maybe this is pretty low profile. I haven't seen this one pop up as many places. So I'm trying to see. I bet she has a prickly jet black bush. Wow. Sentences I didn't need to read today. Well, let's see. So this is profile picture. Another reporter. Thank you for that. Let's see. Come on. Is he really not? Was this the guy? Trans duo? What do we? Oh wait, no. This is an earlier killing by that trans death cult. All right, but no pictures of the guy. Tragic. Tragic, man. Unbelievable. Somebody out there needs to do their job so that we can actually figure out if my spider senses are still on or not. So I cannot confirm. I'll have to wait till later to confirm if my spider senses are true. Which, I mean, I know they are, but still. I'd like physical verification. All right. Well, okay, shoot.
You guys are unhinged.
They are very unhinged. We have, okay, here we go. I know where we're going with this. I know what we're doing. It is a strange day. It is a strange time when I am lagging in baseness to Anna Kasparian. Okay, when Anna Kasparian is more base than I am, damn it. Having to play catch up over here. Anna Kasparian to Jonathan Pollard. Now, why do we talk about Jonathan Pollard? Because he is the most prolific anti-American traitorous spy vermin that we've had in the last 50 years. Famously served a 30-year prison sentence for selling all of our Cold War plans to Israel. He served 30 years in prison and then extradited to Israel. So he is currently in Israel, where he is viewed as a hero, where allegedly, our ambassador, Mike Huckabee, met him 2 or 3 times. Never hosted him, but did have, scheduled meetings with him, of course. And he's now going after Tucker Carlson after that interview that they had last week.
He can go ahead and lie all he wants. And the man, believe me, is as dangerous as Father Coughlin.
Also known as the most Jewish man alive.
Coughlin and Charles Lindbergh during the 1930s and 40s. This man is an anti-Semite, and what he's trying to do is smear the American Jewish community.
Keep in mind that he is literally a spy, traitor, dog to America who sold American secrets and served 30 years in jail when he should have been put down. Calling somebody else, he's smearing the Jewish community in America. This man is a virulent anti-Semite and should be put down.
Collectively, with the crime of one person, me. Now, if Tucker Carlson believes in collective punishment, then maybe he should be open about that, okay? But here's a guy who doesn't have any of the facts himself, relies upon individuals who have no credibility at all, and then takes money from Qatar, has a home in Qatar, and is doing the bidding of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, if he wants to deny that, then he should open up his record.
It's funny. He's like, yeah, he's a traitor. Tucker Carlson, he's a traitor. He's working for terrorists. Like, wait, what's your background again? Why did you serve 30 years in jail? Oh, that's right. You're a traitor. I forgot about that.
And let's see if he's been taking any money from Qatar. My sources say he is, which makes him an agent of influence. Is Tucker Carlson registered as an agent of the Qatari government? Not that I'm aware of. So Tucker Carlson is actually a criminal and should be taken to court, sentenced, and appropriately punished. When it comes to slander and libel...
Appropriately punished, you say? Appropriately punished, you say? Well, me and Anna, okay, listen. YouTube, relax, okay? Me and Anna just have the same opinion, okay? So this is very white girl coded. Me and Anna are having a white girl moment. This is not extreme. This is not anti-Semitic, okay? I'm just agreeing with another, I don't think Anna's actually white. She's like Mongolian or something. But you know what I mean, okay? This is kosher. This is a kosher take.
If he wants Tucker to register as a foreign agent, then he would also support AIPAC registering as a foreign entity as well, correct?
He should register as a tombstone.
And people have asked me why I don't take him to court on those issues. It's pointless, because a serial liar, a deranged serial liar like Tucker Carlson, can buy...
You are a literal traitor. It's like when the worst person you know says you're a bad person. It's like, oh, okay, dog. Like, thanks, I guess. It's like, if Jeffrey Epstein really hates me, I think I'm doing something right,
Bring in any number of incredible or uncredible sources to back up what he's saying. Enough to confuse the jury, and I don't want to run the risk of losing a case to an enemy of my people like this. So the bottom line on this is, in conclusion, I was very disappointed by the Israeli government bending to President Trump's pressure to let him into the country. I was disappointed, I have to say, in Ambassador Huckabee's answers dealing with me. But I was not.
You're a literal traitor. You're a literal traitor. You shouldn't be allowed to make a statement, dog. Right? I'm with Anna. I just agree with Anna, okay? Hashtag standing with Anna.
I think the meme is real in this one. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what you cheer for.
Yeah, you're literally okay. Anna, take the W, Anna. Take a little walk. You get it. You got it. Surprisingly base take for a woman. Now, while we're on this news,
in recent years.
Yeah, ever since she had a kid, she got a little bit more based. Now, this is interesting. So this is a little bit of dichotomy, and actually it kind of ties in with Jonathan Pollard, Mike Huckabee, and Tucker Carlson, because part of the Tucker Carlson interview, the whole point of it was about, what is Jewish? Do they have an actual like biblical right to Israel? Do they have a moral right in a secular sense? Like, what's going on here? Okay. And some of the dichotomy between that and maybe the British people, which also came up in that conversation. And here is Nigel Farage giving his take on British people versus Jewish people, right? And this is ostensibly, he's vying to be the new prime minister of the UK, right? With reform. And hopefully he gets BTFO'd by Restore, but you never know. Nigel Farage is not the guy. So let's hear his silly little two-faced takes on different races and their respective nations.
Support of Israel and their right to defend themselves, but they have to do this. They simply have no option if they are to survive as a country and, frankly, in many ways, as a race in that part of the world.
Do you think that immigration...
So that's him talking about the Jewish people, their right to defend themselves, their right to keep their race, their right to maintain who they are, their ethnicity, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. If they have that right, surely other countries do as well, though, right? Right?
Represents a major threat to Britain from a demographic perspective. So in the last 20 years, the white British population has declined from 87% to 74%. Is that a concern of yours?
No.
You say you're not concerned about demographic changes.
And when was this recorded? Because it's way lower. It's way lower than 70-something%.
It's not, you think that, but the UK demographics actually aren't that bad.
I think I seen in London it was.
So the United Kingdom, as according to 2021, is still 83% white. So keep in mind how bad we have it here, or how bad we think that other people have it there. It's between 76 and 83. I'm seeing two different numbers pop up. But again, that's why Europe will be the first people to make a decisive change, is because they have actual power. All they have to do is vote in a block and they get it. White people in America are very smaller. London's not important, though. It's one simple place. It's talking about
right,
the entire
but the
nation.
demographics for London used to match that for the whole of the UK. It was only off by a couple percentage points, but now it's 1/3 of what it was.
9 Britons and a white guy. But now listen to his immediate response. Do you think it's a problem that British people, English people, ethnically English people are being replaced in their own home by foreigners let in by the government that you're trying to take over? Right?
Is that a concern of yours?
No.
You say you're not concerned about demographic changes in Britain, but we have seen the fastest and most rapid decline of the white British population ever experienced in British history. This has happened in such a tiny, short period of time that majority cities that were once, 90% white British are now majority ethnic minority. Look at London, Leicester, Birmingham. So why isn't that a concern of yours?
But they're not unrecognisable as being English because of skin colour. They're unrecognisable because of culture. I mean, look.
Where does that culture come from? Great freeze frame, by the way. But Nigel, where does that culture come from? Because I'm going to tell you, all right, the Middle East did not produce Western culture. All right? Western culture didn't come from Mongolia. Western culture didn't come from, Malawi or Madagascar or Thailand. didn't, all right? So, yeah, you might find it offensive that skin color comes into it, but there's a reason why certain ethnicities, certain cultures developed out of certain areas from certain people, okay? And you just can't separate the two. There is no magic dirt that's going to change somebody whose entire worldview and genetics is halfway around the country, halfway around the world, sorry, and completely diametrically opposed to your own, you know? You're importing people who are not just different ethnicities, but also different religious and cultural backgrounds, right? So it would still change the culture. This is something that people don't even get. It would still change the culture if you replaced all of the British people with Swedish people. All right? Swedes aren't British. You would just get Switzerland on an island, you know? It would necessarily change, even if the skin color didn't, right?
So Candace Owens again?
Basically, yeah. Now, again, when you import something like Islam, Islam is not a Western religion. It's not a Western way of life. It is diametrically opposed. They don't believe in your system of ethics. They don't believe in anything that Britain used to stand for. It's like we got so much of our common law, our moral law, so much of our foundation from Britain and the British people. Some Scottish as well, of course, people like John Locke and whatnot, but mostly from British people. Okay, you replace the people, it's no longer British. It's a pretty simple concept as far as I'm concerned.
The truth is, I genuinely think that the British are the most open-minded, most accepting people.
Sorry, I know I misspoke there, okay? But it's funnier that I misspoke. It's both true. They're both true, okay?
You know, that you'd frankly...
It's still true, no matter what, all right? It's even funnier that I misspoke when I did that. But it's still true, okay? You replace the British people with Swedish people or Swiss people, okay? And it's not British. It's not British at the end of the day. Now, this is a bit traumatic, okay? So you guys probably aren't going to like this video, but I think it's important as it represents what Nigel Farage does not have a problem with. Remember, he just, in his own words, told you that he does not have a problem with replacing the natural-born British people, the people that are actually ethnically English, with people of a different ethnicity, a different skin color, a different religion, who have different values, who don't view you as equal. And here
It's
is
just
one...
cultural differences.
Well, I agree with you. It's cultural differences, and those stem from race. Those stem from genetics. That is a large component of it. Now, this is a video of one of the, unfortunately, millions of English women who have been, women and children, who have been raped and abused, kidnapped, murdered, stabbed by somebody who just shouldn't be there in the first place. Now, the video is harrowing, of course, but she is incredibly lucky that there happens to be a man there to stand up for her who stops this migrant person. Well, I dare say probably not a person, but this animal from raping her. I mean, the woman is just completely distraught. Like, absolutely, she can't do anything. She doesn't know what's going on. She's just getting violently attacked by this individual, and insanely lucky that there happened to be a man there that was capable of doing something to stop it, right? Without that person there, without one person willing to stand up, when Nigel's not going to do it. Nigel, frankly, doesn't give a damn. But it's going to come down to good people doing rough things to save, like literally save their countrymen from this type of invasion, this type of problem. And now, anytime you hear of female empowerment or, you know, female independence, it's such a lie. It's such a farce, right? This is what female independence brings you. This is what strong females look like, on the ground, helpless, moaning as somebody rapes you. That's what it leads to. Strong, independent woman? Nah. Nope. Not a thing. It's going to take a man to save you from somebody else, and you're too stupid to not import them. All right. Well, I think that's enough for tonight.
I just got one thing to say about that.
I want this motherfucking black ass, banana eating, chimpanzee, monkey made motherfucker on the first fucking slave ship back to motherfucking Morocco.
Thank you, EDP. Barbarian Scorn becomes a YouTube channel member. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, sir. Graham Bergdorf becomes a new YouTube channel member. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Graham Bergdorfer 2 says, great stream last night. Catch the VOD at work tomorrow. Well, have a good night. I hope you have a great day at work tomorrow for all you job cells out there. Let me see. Let me make sure that we're all caught up everywhere else. I think we are. Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Well, if anybody hasn't been paying attention the past couple streams, I did start another channel, and hopefully this week I will have a test stream up to see how my hardware is going to hold up. So give me 1 second here. I will grab you the link for that if you don't have it handy. And then tomorrow I've got some other clips coming out, I believe. Let me see what I've got on the docket for tomorrow. Oh no, I may be booted out of the, that's not good. Yeah, I might have to actually log out and log back in.
Okay, well, shoot, how do I find your channel, Richard?
1 second. I will just mute so my voice doesn't go off.
Bryce Kibble says, good stream, John. What time tomorrow? Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is a day off because I did my shooting on Tuesday, so I'm not going shooting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a day off. I'm going to work on some Gun.Deals videos. I'm going to build all my new setups. I got some uppers to get out for customers. Tomorrow is going to be a good day. So I'm going to play around with the new cans, modify some setups, get the Geisley setup behind me. Have a good time. You know, it'll be a relaxing time tomorrow. Spend some quality time with the fam. Watch some Batman animated series, the one from the 90s, the original animated series. Should be a very good time. All right. I'm going to drop the link for Richard's channel in the YouTube chat and over there on the Rumble chat as well. Hope everybody's having a good time. Also, the X chat. I saw there's a bunch of people over there hanging out. Thank you to everybody on X watching. I don't know how the process is over there, but hopefully it works okay. But let's see. Yeah. Wait for Richard to get back, and then we can get out of here.
Tomorrow I've got the T-Sauce video coming out, another video on Brandon Herrera coming out, and Trump's top guy, who just happened to be Epstein's neighbor for like 2 decades.
Right. Howard Lutnick.
Yeah.
That guy needs to go. We need to get rid of that guy. I'm just saying, all right? Deport that
The more
man.
I look into him,
Check
the
that
worse
guy's
it
hard
gets.
drive. All right. Well, with all of that out of the way, thanks to Richard for hanging out. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you greatly, kindly for all of the wonderful support. It is much appreciated. Ladies and gents, 4 streams in a row. I never want to be a daily streamer because I would much rather spend my time doing other things with the family, shooting, making videos, or just hanging out, having a good time. But I do appreciate hanging out with you guys, giving you guys hopefully some entertainment, maybe some motivation, updating you on all the news and other nonsense, or even making you angry at the screen for making you watch Candace Owens for like 45 minutes at a time. But with all of that out of the way, gents, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Christ is King. God bless. God.
As I sailed, and most of them I've slain as I sailed. done.